I'm on Patreon, and Patreon is a platform where I will upload interesting videos where you can learn astrology. And this is an exclusive Patreon only membership videos where you will get some interesting takes on Vedic astrology, some interesting learning on Vedic astrology, and lot more secrets will be shared there. Aries Ascendant. If you are an Aries Ascendant, then Saturn will make its move out of your 10th house to your 11th house. It's a big move for 2.5 years. 11th house is called the house of wish fulfillment. It is the house of network circle. It is the zodiac sign where you meet your extended family, the family outside your family. It is a zodiac sign of transformation of your house. It's a zodiac sign when the income comes and your happiness increases. It's a zodiac sign where the salary comes in. It is called the Labhasthana. And for Aries Ascendant, this house, this Bhava, holds the Aquarius zodiac sign, the zodiac sign which is a zodiac sign of Shani, Saturn. And it is also the Mool Trikona zodiac of Shani Dev. What is a Mool Trikona zodiac sign? It's a zodiac sign where the planet is in its, you can say in its office, it is performing exactly what it is supposed to do. So Saturn finds itself in a very comfortable position, but remember this is a Labhasthan. Bring Shani to the Labhasthan and Saturn is going to question, Saturn is going to judge every gains that you think you will get. Every wish, every desire that is in your mind will have to go through the filter of Shani Dev. If you're unable to justify your demands, your wishes, then Saturn will stop that. Saturn's presence in the 11th house is also going to be a blessing for a lot of people. Somebody who has been trying for a very long time for employment, someone who is struggling financially, Saturn's transit in the 11th house can work like a blessing, like a charm, because Saturn is called Karma Phaladata. If your karma was solid, if your karma was positive in the right direction, this is the time when you will start getting the fruits of your karma. But the fruits of the karma will be both good as well as bad. Saturn, wherever it sits, will first make the house heavy. It will first slow things down, because that's the way you can judge something. You can't judge something in a blink of an eye. You need proof, you need validation, it will take time. So you might also see that in certain cases, when your horoscope allows and you have worked really hard, you will get a fun promotion, one major job change that stabilizes your source of income, that stabilizes your labha, and you are okay. You are in a very good position to gain financially. If you work really hard in your office, you will see that you will be appreciated, you will be promoted, you will get very good opportunities, especially in civil services, in oil and chemical industry, in metals. If you want to establish a factory, everything is fine. But having over the top demand like Rahu kind of thing without any proper foundation will be completely blocked by this Saturn. Saturn will then slow the 11th house and Saturn will ask you, what is the need of your greed? Because greed is something that won't work when Saturn will be in your Ekadash Bhav, 11th house, the house of gains. Also, 10th Lord in the 2nd house is a very good opportunity for you to find a suitable career. A career where you won't hop every 1-2 years, but a career where you want to settle down. It may be boring, it may be monotonous, but it is going to lay the foundation of your future. If you are into an executive position, if you are into a position of authority, you will see that you will be able to decide your future, and not only your future but also the future of your team members. So you might have to take some tough decisions. So be ready for that. The gains through Saturn do come, but it comes after hard work. Once you show patience and you are constantly working towards growth. It's like slow and steady wins the race. So if you are slow and if you are steady, then you will win the race. But what is happening with the other planets? See, for the entire movement of Saturn, Rahu will try to approach Shani. Rahu will be on the 1st house, almost till October end 2023. Then for another 18 months, Rahu will be in the 12th house, and then Rahu will enter the sign of Aquarius. Now, this very approach of Rahu and Saturn talks about innovation. It's a very good time for scientists. It's a very good time to find innovative solutions. It's a very good time to invent something. Maybe start a new branch, start a new product, launch a new business, start a new category, go into a different kind of domain. Yes, Saturn's aspect on the 5th house would definitely want you to learn, want you to first serve and then become the master. That is another thing. But with Rahu's approach, and when we combine both the energy in a positive direction, it's a perfect cocktail for technological advancement, use of technology, growth in AI, software, bringing new talent on the team, doing something extraordinary. All this becomes a possibility when Saturn will be in the 11th house. A friend can be like a brother. An elderly person can come like a guardian, like a friend, like a brother, and can help you. Saturn in the 11th house will also trim down your network circle and would want to remove any unwanted elements, toxic energies from your life. So you might also see that you are losing few friends and you are suddenly not that social. Maybe you are so busy with the work, you are so laser focused that you don't even get time to actually socialize. Don't be so isolated. This is the time when you can visit ashram, be in nature. Try to be in the mountains, in the hills, among the trees. Listen to water flowing down from the mountain. Being close to nature will help you realign your life, recalibrate your life. And remember, Saturn is Kala. And if Saturn is in the 11th house, you also gain time. So if you want to buy time for any kind of work, this is the duration where you can actually buy time. Now, talking about the aspect of Saturn, Saturn's 3rd aspect will fall on your 1st house. What is your 1st house? 1st house is called Tanubhava, physical body, your overall existence. So Saturn aspect on Rahu in the 1st house talks a lot about 2023. It talks about the change in personality. It talks about your constant struggle to achieve something, and when you're not getting, you have to change or mold yourself according to circumstance. And Saturn talks about your physical existence, whether you are gaining health or you are losing health. So you have to focus on yourself, because the 3rd aspect falls on the 1st house. You have to work on yourself. Otherwise, you can have some dark circles. Your skin might become dry. You might become excessively lean because of overstress. And these are the symptoms that Saturn is not happy with you. And if Saturn is happy with you, you will see that your personality will suddenly bloom. Your personality will grow. Yes, you will work towards yourself. You will work towards your soft skill, your overall existence. If you are into media, if you are an influencer, if you are into public domain, you will see that your image will transform. But according to the 11th house, if your image is supposed to gain, you will see a tremendous amount of gain over a period of time. Otherwise, you will see a rapid decline. And the moment you see a decline, understand that you are doing something wrong. You need to wait, hold, understand and correct yourself, because Saturn loves correction. If you are on the corrective measure, Shanidev will help you. But if you choose to fight, it's like a person is trying to fight the judge. You can't fight. Saturn's 7th aspect will fall on the 5th house. It's a good time for people who are looking for childbirth but is getting a lot of obstruction, a lot of trouble. You will see that the gain coming from children, your hard work towards your child will now show some result, especially to the parents of children who are specially abled, parents of children who show a delay in learning, maybe delay in speech. You will see something positive coming your way during that time. And if you have been trying for a childbirth from a very long time, maybe the medical help will now become fruitful. That's how the Saturn's influence, because Saturn is watching that house. And if you have been doing a lot of positive karma, Saturn is going to give you its blessings. Remember, 5th house is also Purva Punya, past life positive deeds. Which means the moment Saturn goes in the 11th, It is going to unlock the positive deeds if you have set your karma straight, but it also has the potential to suddenly shut down all the doors if you have been not listening to Shani Dev for past 2.5 years. And if you are in Saturn Mahadasha, Saturn Antardasha, and you see sudden blockages one after the other, maybe it is the time to look into what you did in the past and then start apologizing. All Shani Dev is asking you is acceptance of your mistake, and then you should be ready to correct it. Then gates will start opening up slowly. Patience is the key. With Saturn in the 11th, its 10th aspect will fall in your 8th house, and this is the most important part of the Shani transit. 8th house aspect. Because Saturn is in 11th and it has 10th aspect on the 8th house, it is talking about constantly saving your money. It is talking about your future, your old age, your retirement. So start planning for that. Does not matter what age you are in right now. Start planning for that. Start saving. It's a time where you are investing money. It's a time when the ups and downs of life will definitely come, but you are now prepared for that. 8th house is the uncertainty. 8th house is the dynamic energy. And Saturn wants you to work towards that. 10th aspect of Saturn means what? Aspect of karma. You have to do a lot of karma related to your in-laws. This also means that on a positive sense, with your in-laws, you can start a business. You can join their team. You can have a good bonding together. But it also means that if you leave that house without any karma, then it is going to create health issues. It's going to create financial issues. It's going to create problems with taxation, loss of money because you have to pay fine. It is going to give you challenging scenarios, and if you are fearing the scenario and if you are walking it away from it, then how will the gain come? You can't expect Saturn to behave like Venus, behave like Jupiter. Saturn is not a benevolent planet. Saturn is a neutral planet. It will give you results according to how you take it, how you perform. And with the 10th aspect on 8th house, I will say this is the time when you address the core issues of your life, the most painful areas of life, and you have to work towards that. And maybe it will involve some expenses. Income, trying to work towards 8th house. Money being invested for long term. That's how you save. You are creating inheritance and legacy for the future generation. Which also means how you treat climate, how you treat the, Paryavaran, environment, and how you're going to leave the society and the world for your future generation is also Saturn is going to watch. Saturn is a planet that creates generations. It creates the trend of humanity. One more thing. Saturn is going to aspect your 1st and 8th house. So your life and death is now under control of Shani. And because it is in your 11th house, you stand to gain. You stand to ultimately gain from Saturn transit, because what will happen even if you resist? It's a big 2.5 to 3 year transit. After 1.5 year, you will be forced to act in the way Saturn wants you to do. And then once you start doing the karma, at the end of the transit, you will get positive results. But what I am asking you to do is, if you become more aware right now, you will start getting positive results way sooner. It's all about your inbuilt communication with the planet. How you talk to the energies, how you feel the energies. There's the time when you should chant the Shani Bij mantra. Help the poor. Define your income to be worthy. Doesn't matter. Saturn is not the planet that will say, hey, don't earn this much amount of money. He will say, okay to earn. But what are you going to do with that money? Are you going to waste this Lakshmi? Or are you going to put it to good use? So Saturn is not restricting you. Saturn wants you to justify. And if you can, there is no bound. There is no upper limit for the income to grow. There is no upper limit for happiness to grow. Couple of more things. Health of mother can be impacted because of this. Connection with your brothers. You will have to make sure that you are being an elder brother to your family members. And maybe an elder brother may need you also. With Martian energies coming under the aspect of Shani, because that's what happens when Saturn moves to Aquarius. Saturn aspects Aries and Scorpio zodiac sign. Acceleration is put to hold. You might see market getting fluctuated. You might see some natural calamity, and this is mundane astrology, affecting day-to-day activity. And that is why spend less, save more, be more conservative, follow rituals, be disciplined. And that's the message for Saturn in the 11th house. And when you do that, it is a Labhasthan, it is the house of gain. And when a Saturn is in the office of gains, the only thing that Saturn wants to do is give you gains. But you have to listen to the working principle of Shani. You can't expect Saturn to work like Buddha. If you do that, you will see that it will be great for you. Career will be great. Married life will be great. Lost relationships will come back. You will become more and more and more practical in life. You will become more and more solid in your mental foundation. And if your moon is weak, you need to work towards Chandra by praying to Bhagwan Shiva, chanting Hanuman Chalisa every day, 3 times every day, will give you a lot of courage and strength. And overall, this transit will turn out to be extremely auspicious for you. You need to give it time. This transit is demanding Kala, time from you. Taurus Ascendant. Taurus finds Saturn a very, very important planet. Why? Because Saturn rules your 9th and 10th house. 9th house is about Bhagya, destiny. The presence of a guru, mentor in your life. It's all about travel, foreign education, advanced studies, decisions that you take that actually transforms your life. And then you have 10th house. 10th house will host Aquarius zodiac sign, and 10th house is about karma, career, name, fame. How will you earn your livelihood, your position in society? So 10th house is how bright your life is in reality. Now imagine if these two zodiac are actually under the domain of Saturn, how important this planet can be. For Vrishab Rashi, for Taurus Ascendant people, and even Taurus moon sign, if you want to see it from moon, Saturn becomes Dharma and Karma Adhipati, the Lord of Dharma and the Lord of Karma. Now, one planet controlling all the righteousness, the right path in your life, and how you process your karma, your day-to-day activity, even your thought process. Imagine the importance of that planet in your life. And whenever there is a Saturn transit, it will reshape your existence, it will reshape your future, it will redefine you. Saturn is also the guru, the guide, the mentor. You are a zodiac, as a Taurus zodiac, where Venus becomes very secured. You are a zodiac where moon finds its exaltation. And you are a zodiac sign which is the second zodiac of the Kal Purush, the natural zodiac belt. Therefore, it's more about a homely environment, being among your family members, having secured finances, thinking about good food, good life. And so, for your own existence, hard work becomes your dharma. And that's the message of Saturn being the Lord of 9th and 10th house. Now, Saturn was in your 9th house from past 2.5 years. It was shaping your destiny. It was a 9th Lord in 9th house. It was trying to shape your existence. You also experienced Rahu in the first for 1.5 years. And combined Rahu and Saturn coming in trine, it did change you completely. Maybe some will face change in career, some will face change in through marriage. Change can come from any dimension, but the main energy that was working behind the scene was Saturn and Rahu and their trinal connection. I'm not saying that change came through happy means, but change eventually did come. Now you have to see, and whenever you are dealing with Saturn and you are a Taurus zodiac sign, you have to see with a vision of minimum of 5 years. You can't see Saturn in a short-term basis. You can't plan for energies or effects produced by Shani when you are thinking in a very short span of time. That's not how this planet is going to affect your life. This is going to affect your life. You can say this is a transit that comes once in every 25 years for you, and it will reshape the next 25 years. That's how important it is. You can say you can divide your entire life in 3 segments, and each time Saturn crosses the Capricorn and Aquarius zodiac, it will define your next 25 years as a theme of life. Obviously, on top of that, there will be other planets, influence of your Mahadasha, Antardasha, how you perceive the world, then your natural decisions that you take. So there are many layers on top of this. But the base layer will be created, manufactured by Shani when it will transit your 9th and 10th house. It will reshape your dharma, your belief system. It will challenge you. It will make you rethink on what you trust, what you believe, by creating problems. And if you are disciplined, if you are focused, if you are humble, if you are grounded, then the 9th house will activate the energies of Guru. Guru means the guide, and Saturn becomes that Guru. He takes the role of not a karmic lord, but a lord that will teach you through experience, and that is what is happening. And 50% of that is over, and 50% is yet to be experienced. It is still left. On 17th of January 2023, Saturn will make its move in your 10th house. The moment it comes in the Kendra, it creates a very strong and a powerful Raj Yoga in your horoscope. 10th house Saturn is a Saturn that would like you to build connections, that would like you to work on new technology, that would like you to work on new age devices, that would like you to work on your image, on your job, on your livelihood. And people who are stuck in their career will suddenly see that a force will come that will help them in your career, in your business. Now, it doesn't matter what your career is in. But if your career is somehow connected to Saturn, like if you are in metals, oils, manufacturing, cold chain, transport, if you are a person who is a very hard-working person, someone who is getting up early in the morning, very disciplined, focused in your life, who deals with public, who deals with labor, all this will see an extra boost when Saturn will move in the 10th house. But remember, Saturn, when it goes in the natural 11th house, being in the 10th house, so there is an expression of result of karma. And when I translate it into modern day and age, you can say it is like a promotion, like an increment, like a salary adjustment. We call market readjustment. Because now Saturn will give you the fruits of your hard work. Or you may have to work hard because you didn't in the past years, and now you will have to, otherwise there will be a threat on your career, threat on your source of income. So that is how you will have to relate. So be prepared to grill yourself, and yes, it will give you positive results at the end of its movement in Aquarius zodiac sign, because it is a wave that will cleanse your thoughts, that will cleanse your action, through repeated hard work, a lot of hit and trial, and yes, guidance will come your way. A 10th house Saturn is an extremely strong Shani, a kind of a energy that will give you a big career change, more better and stronger opportunities, a fewer but yet important opportunities. Saturn would like you to be a student before being a mentor. Saturn would like you to connect with people of the similar industry and maybe get as much of experience as you can. It is therefore very important for you to get connected with people, like-minded people during this time. It is also very important to give first, expect later. That's the message. Give first, expect later. Hard work is the key here, and club it with other planets. Say, talk about the movement of Jupiter in 2023. Jupiter is in your 11th house and Saturn is in your 10th house, both in the same zodiac sign. What an excellent formation for people who want to go to a foreign country for a job, who wants to go into their dream company, for entrepreneurs who want to build a dream position in their career. Startups will be created during this time. A lot of technology startups will be created by Taurus people, and that is where the energy must be directed. A guided, focused, under the limits, hard work. Because if you don't understand limit and you deal with Saturn, then Saturn is going to teach you your limits. But how will you expand if you always respect your limit? Well, while you respect your limit, you have to constantly try to expand the horizon of your limit itself. Which means not only you will be within your zone, within your capability, much within of what you can deliver, but you will also slowly expand your position of delivery. Say if you're a businessman, let's take an example. You have a machine that can produce 1,000 units of an item per day. You cannot take a contract of 2,000 rupees an item per day, because then Saturn will simply destroy your business. But now you know that there can be an opportunity, because Saturn will show you, guide you to that opportunity where you can get 2,000 items per day contract. Then you have to expand your limit, which means first Saturn would want you to put all your efforts into buying a new machine. Now you have two machines, 1,000 plus 1,000. The limit is expanded, but you are still within your limits, because now you can safely produce 2,000 units per day and your commitment will be met. Your delivery timelines will not be screwed up, will not be damaged because of a proper understanding. So you must go slow. 10th house is also your knees. The knee for a human bears a lot of weight. One small problem in the knee and you won't be able to even stand. So when Saturn goes there, it is like your body, your spiritual body is taking, your astral body is taking that load. And in order to walk, you need to take smaller steps. When you have load on your head, try to take a suitcase, briefcase on your head and try to walk. You cannot walk fast, otherwise you will fall. You have to walk slowly. You have to keep one step at a time, trying to balance your life. And that is exactly what Saturn is trying to teach you. Your reputation will increase once you start dealing with people of higher authority, once you start showing more than what you are supposed to be given, going an extra mile, but still not going into sleepless nights. Because Saturn in 10th house will make most of Taurans a workaholic, whether you like or you don't like. But then you cannot trade that with your health. That's not what Saturn wants you to do. So alternatively, practice yoga, breathing techniques, meditation, so that your 10th house not only gets the energy of karma, but also the energy of dharma. Read scriptures, go to ancient temples, ancient places, hills and mountains, and try to connect with nature. Shani is Prakriti in a way. Try to connect with nature, and with Jupiter in the 11th and Rahu in the 12th, this all energies together will come in your rescue. People who are trying to get a career in a foreign country, students who want to enroll into a foreign university, will get a great opportunity during this time. It just opens up the possibilities for you. Now, when Saturn will be in Aquarius, its third aspect will fall in the 12th house. So definitely your expenses will increase. You will have to work on your expenses, especially the medical expenses. It can be your expense. It can be expense of the family. You will have to carefully work on that, and you should not ignore an upcoming expense because that can be very heavy. Saturn will make you work hard so that your focus is on building assets, because Saturn wants you to feel secured financially. Expenses has to be reduced, asset creation should be increased. If you don't do this and you are married, you will see there will be marital tension. So the reason can be anything, but the theme remains the same. The target of Saturn is one and the same. People who are looking for marriage, and if you are eligible, if your horoscope allows, Saturn's 10th aspect on the 7th house in the sign of Scorpio will ensure that you face all the hurdles, but still, if you do enough good karma and if your motivation is right, you will get married, and that also becomes one of your karma. Most people who will marry during this period will have a kind of a karmic marriage. If your marriage is in a dicey state, or if your relationship is in a dicey state, if your business contract is in a dicey state, Saturn's 10th aspect on your 7th house will make you work a lot towards your 7th house. This is the time when you will have to deal with public, deal with the masses. So people who are influencers, journalists, writers, professors, anybody who usually deal with a lot of people, virtually or really, will see an upward trend in their life when Saturn will move in Aquarius zodiac sign. When Saturn will be in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, later on, you must ensure that you are letting go, bringing career-related changes in your life, not worrying about fame, but still doing humanitarian activity, doing a lot of social work, focusing on your own family, on your own welfare, on your own health, but also focusing on social welfare and social health. Because Aquarius is a social zodiac sign, it's a humanitarian zodiac sign. For some, you may also experience defamation during this time, so be very careful, especially if you have Sun and Saturn conjunction, or you have a weak Sun in your chart. Defamation is possible. Keep your actions correct, go slow, take one step at a time, and do not target aggressively anything. The moment you start pursuing, see, consistency is going to be the key. Aggression will not be the key. Slow and steady wins the race will be the mantra for you. For old people who are suffering from arthritis, you will have to be very careful. People who have bone-related problem or calcium-related problem should be careful during this time. Although Saturn will only push you for recovery, but sometimes if you are ignorant, Saturn will create a problem so that your focus goes there and then the recovery happens, but it just eats up your time. Time management is going to be the biggest problem here. You must follow strict routine and strict discipline, especially when you are at home. The load of the work, the load of the office may take up extra hours. Therefore, you may not feel the happiness of house, home, even when you have spent a lot of money. So you may have to force that, like you have to force yourself to limit your work in a way that you are not spending your energy way too much, and you're also giving some time for yourself, for the family, for enjoyment. Take a lot of vacations, and don't just, because things will move in a positive direction, because you will get an output. Don't give your 500%. Give enough and then a little extra. But don't burn out during this time. Because if you are burning out, means you are moving too fast. And that is against the Saturn. When you say Saturn makes workaholic, Saturn will not ask you to sit for 24 hours a day or 18 hours a day. Saturn says, go slow. It will create a load so that you are forced to divide that load into multiple segments. For people who are in business, entrepreneurs, who want to do startups, you will have to employ a lot of people. You have to bring in team, workforce, basically. Definitely it will cut your pie in the revenue and the profits will reduce, but then you will have to manage it somehow, like balancing the expense because it will become an operating expense, but also not taking too much load on yourself. If you are a one-man army, it will be a problem. Try to delegate whatever you can. From the health perspective, you will have to be careful that you are not overweight and you are also not emotionally overweight. Otherwise, problems like nerve issues, sciatica, knee pain, joint pains, all these things might come up. And that will simply put you into a position where you will have to do rigorous exercise. Don't allow health to forcefully draw your attention. Saturn in the 10th house is also going to judge how dharmic you are. Dharmic means how spiritually right you are, how righteous you are. Whether you are greedy or you are selfish or you are benevolent, you love to charity, you spend time with old people, all this karma will be analyzed by Saturn carefully and then the judgment will happen. Now, for you, there is an extra benefit because your natural 11th house falls in the 10th house. And the moment Saturn enters the 10th house, automatically the ball is set to motion. And when Saturn goes in Pisces, that is a Saturn which gives an ocean of positive energy. But this is Saturn, a planet of restriction, a planet that wants you to be under control, within the laws, and be inclusive, be a team leader, not just a single man institution in yourself. It is a time to be humble. When Saturn is in 10th house, no matter what position you are, you have to show that somebody is above you, God is above you. So always, it's like being like, pray to Bhagwan Hanuman. In spite of immense power that Bhagwan Hanuman has, he still says Jai Shri Ram. He never says Jai Shri Hanuman. He says Jai Shri Ram. There is always a supreme being, and that is the sign of true power. In Hanuman Chalisa, we say, Aapne tej sabharo vaape, tino lok hankte kaape. Imagine a God who has to withhold his own power by himself. Nobody can handle that power. And that God bows down at the feet of Bhagwan Shri Ram, in the feet of Vishnu, Mahavishnu. That's the sign of true power, sign of power that is honest, humble and divine. Obviously, even if a fraction of that ocean of power comes within us by prayer, by simple devotion and surrender, we can become many times better than what we are, and you should try by doing this. So read about Bhagwan Hanuman, try to take in his lifestyle, try to take in what he has done, try to understand the position of the divine, and that if you can incorporate to a fraction in your life, you will see that your life will change forever. Even the aspect of Saturn is beautifully crafted to control your 3 central house and 1 negative house. So apart from you as a human, everything else is under the domain of Saturn. Even your subconscious mind is under the domain of Saturn. It won't let you sleep. It will give you sleepless nights. It will make you tirelessly work towards your ambitions, towards your goals. This is also the time when you can confront your supervisor, your bosses about something that you see unworthy, that you see something that is not right. But here I will say, whatever you do, go by the law, go by the book, and never ever try to show your unnecessary power. Even if you have power, don't show that power. Try to be humble within your limits. Restraint is going to be the key. Patience is going to be the key here, and consistency is the key to success. And that's the message Saturn has to give when it will move in Aquarius zodiac sign for Taurus natives. Gemini Ascendant. Saturn is a very crucial planet for you, because for you, Saturn rules 8th house and 9th house. So it talks about the dharma, the righteousness, the guidance, the destiny, the fate, the higher education, all the research work. So all the research that you will do during this lifetime will be guided and controlled by Saturn in certain way. Since 2020, Saturn was in your 8th house, and 8th house is all about ups and downs, disturbances. So Saturn tried to draw the attention to all the difficult and challenging areas of life by giving you troubles, by giving you problems. And you have to face it. It's like a grand divine examination that you have to attend, that you have to give. And those who became successful really became successful and saw the golden period of their life. And a lot of people suffered because they were unable to understand the grand plan, the grand design of Saturn. But now Saturn is about to reach your 9th house, and you can say that this will be a kingmaker transit for Gemini Ascendant, and especially for Gemini Moon sign, because if you are a Gemini Moon sign, you are getting free from what you call Ashtamadhyaya. Saturn, when it goes in the 9th house, it recalibrates your belief system. You have to learn on the go. You might be put in a job where you will have to gain the experience, and parallelly you will have to learn, and you will have to execute, prove your might, show what you know, but not that you will get a lot of time to just learn and then execute, but you have to do it parallelly. 9th house is the house of divinity, dharma. It is the house of guru, mentorship. Your life and your life's experience becomes your greatest mentor, greatest guru, greatest guide when Saturn moves in your 9th house. Also, Aquarius is the Moola Trikona zodiac sign of Shani. So Saturn will be in its office. Imagine a planet like Saturn ruling your 9th house in an office-like setup in the destiny. So it is definitely going to change your destiny. Next 2.5 years will be extremely auspicious for you. And if you keep your karma as per dharma, if you keep your karma straight, if you keep your karma inclusive, if you think holistically, if you think that your dharma is to serve humanity, if you think that your dharma is to provide service to the needy, if you set your karma straight, if you are not greedy, if you are not too aggressive towards your life achievements, and if you go slow, your destiny is bound to change, and change for good. Because when Saturn is in 9th house, it is going to take control of the most powerful house in the horoscope, the house where you can say the blessings come from the divine. It is like a temple, and the karma itself becomes a temple, and you have to become a karma yogi. Focus on all the responsibilities of your life and start executing it one by one. Even when you feel like doing or you don't feel like doing, if you are disciplined, if you are strict with yourself, then you will see that you will immediately rise the ladder of success, and Saturn will give you all the platform, all the opportunity to grow and grow much bigger. Saturn will have 3rd and 10th aspect on 11th and 6th house. What does this say? Now, being in the 9th house, Saturn will redefine your belief system. It will give you realistic experiences. It will tell you who is the real mentor, who can give you real guidance, and what is real guidance all about. You will get the right information. It will be like a hand holding by the planet to pull you out from the misery and take you to a place where you deserve to be. But the third aspect on Saturn in the 11th house talks a lot about your own efforts towards your own wish fulfillment. Remember, Saturn is a karmic planet, so the destiny or the achievements will not be given as a gift or a reward. You will get the right path and you will get to know how to walk that path. And then when you do the karma, your wishes will be fulfilled, your desires will be fulfilled. But yes, you will also get to know that maybe out of 10 desires, 3 or 4 are really impractical and maybe not even possible in this lifetime, and you will have to accept that. The only case where the acceptance do not happen, there is rigidity, you are not flexible, you are trying to fight, you are into non-belief, and you will try to execute what Saturn does not want you to execute, then is when you will see the fierce form of Saturn. Because when Saturn aspects 11th and 6th house, it is aspecting 6th house and then 6th from 6th house. So it can create a disease and it can make you run for the therapy, make you run for the remedy. But why will Saturn, ruler of 9th, being in 9th, do such harsh things with you? Only when you have lost your path and you are not ready to realign yourself in the path that Saturn has decided for you. So for the first 5-6 months of this Saturn transit, you must just observe how your life flows, the flow of life. Do not react, do not take big decisions, but just observe. And when you observe a certain flow, it will automatically tell you where you want, where the life wants you to be, and then start moving in that direction, and you will be along the current, and it will be quite easy for you. It will be just a natural karmic flow for you. With Saturn having 10th aspect on the 6th house, it talks a lot about resolution of disputes through proper understanding of the subject. Maybe a guru will come, maybe a legal intervention will happen, and people stuck in court cases, especially divorce cases, will see a lot of relief and justice will be served during this time. Saturn's 10th aspect on 6th house will also want you to go for a diplomatic solution, an out of the court settlement, if you call that way, where the matters can be diffused, the tension is diffused and it is not increased any further. 6th house is also house of diseases. So Saturn would want you to not think about your gains and expectations, but think about your health. So when Saturn goes in Aquarius, and if you are a Gemini ascendant or Gemini moon sign, health becomes your highest priority. Because out of, there are 4 Upachya house, the 4 Bhava in the Kundli that is responsible for your day-to-day living, your financial growth, how do you interact with normal mundane life. That is 3, 6, 10 and 11. Out of these 4 houses, 3 will be under direct aspect of Shani, because Saturn being in the 9th house will also aspect the 3rd house. Now 3rd, 6th and 11th are under the aspect of Saturn. That means the day-to-day activity can become tough if Saturn becomes angry on you. But if Saturn showers its blessing on you, if you are in the right track, you will see all the problems and all the hurdles will simply go away, or rather you will get very easy and quick solution and you will easily walk over your problem. You won't even feel anything. Saturn is going to watch and judge your initiatives. It is going to change your expectations. It is going to tighten your efforts, and it will allow you to work only in a certain direction, and your task will be to first figure out the direction of the flow of energy of Saturn. If you cannot take a consultation, at least observe from your day-to-day life. Say, there are 3 things you want to do in your life. You try all 3 with your whole heart and whole dedication. Say one will be fulfilled immediately. You understand that that's the life's flow. One will not be fulfilled no matter what you do. That is when you will have to understand that you need to stop. And then one will be somewhere in between, which also explains that you need to continue doing your karma because something is happening. Now here, Mahadashas are going to play an extremely vital role, because if Mahadasha blocks it, then Saturn, if he wants, is going to fight with the Mahadasha. Now obviously, no planet are your enemy, and this is all an energy arrangement. So that is when the Mahadasha understanding and analysis has to be done very carefully, because Saturn, which is Kala, and Mahadasha is also Kala, both will fight with each other. This is the time to pray to Bhagwan Kala Bhairav and Lord Shiva. Simply praying Om Namah Shivaya, doing the Anhad Nad, Om chanting, Nad Brahma Pranayam, and meditating and observing your karma. Like when you get up every day in the morning in the Brahma Muhurta, I have made a video on Brahma Muhurta. The link will be in the description box below. You can watch that on my lifestyle channel, Lifetime Soul. If you get up on Brahma Muhurta and you plan your day, you plan your destiny for the day, and then try to stick to that course as much as possible. Not that you will be always be able to stick to that path, but at least try. Attempts and efforts are what pleases Shani, not the end result. Karmanyeva dhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. And that's the message when Saturn aspects 3rd, 6th and 11th house. Which also means that given good effort, you will see promotions. The floodgates of life will open to the positive direction, and suddenly people who are not getting proper job will get a job. If business is going down, you will make necessary corrections, and within you will respect your limits. You will come back to your limits, and that is when the business will start growing. Even someone like a housewife or an elderly person who have not tried or gave an attempt to their career from a very long time, you can also try that out. Saturn might change your destiny through your own action. You will have to take your life in your own hand, and that will make the change for Gemini. Help is definitely there. You also should not forget that Jupiter is in your 10th house. Jupiter is also aspecting 2nd and 6th. If this is not the time when a lot of financial gains can come, then what is the time? Yes, I'm not even saying that you can win a lottery. No, that's not the case. But your hard work will pay off. Your dedication will pay off. And your concentration will also give you great results. Students who are planning to give competitive examination, civil service examination, will see great success during this time. Your focus will increase. So you should chant Maha Saraswati mantra. Om Aim Saraswatyay Namah. Just focus on Maha Saraswati mantra, and that will improvise on the Akasha Tattva, and Saturn will give you proper benefits. People involved in research work, oil and gas, metals, manufacturing, insurance, people who are into taxation, consulting, piping, people who are involved into niche skills, research, all this will see great boost. Technology will see great boost. And your business, your career will flourish like anything. This will also take care of your relationship and marital disputes by controlling your own response to the situation. If your response changes, that will change the situation and circumstance, which will result into a different set of future. It is like one stone. When you throw a stone on a pond, there is a lot of ripples of water. The way you throw a stone, or maybe more than one stone, changes the wavelength of the water, the surface of the water. Similarly, Saturn is going to change the wavelength of your life. You should not be reluctant to express yourself, but you will have to streamline your words, because Saturn is watching the house of expression. You have to take care of your health, especially gut health. You will have to take care of joint pains, especially if the pain is coming from lower back, hips and thighs. You should not ignore that. Do yoga, do a lot of walking, visit ancient temples, go for a pilgrimage, especially towards a Jyotirlinga, and help as many people as you can. Whatever is your dharma, simply just do it, what you're supposed to do, in a positive, constructive manner. When you see 8th Lord going in 9th house, this also talks a lot about the presence of occult energies coming your way, which means you will be guided by the divine. So you will get all possible instruction and guidance for securing your financial future, so you can buy insurances. You can safeguard your and your family's future. So decision should be taken slowly, ever so slowly. This is a good time to buy a property for a long-term investment. This is a good time for people who have a property-related matter stuck. That will move in the positive direction, and you will see that you will gain benefits. Money that was stuck will come back to you. People involved in transport, tourism, hotels will see limited but structured growth. So do not go for a very aggressive marketing, a very aggressive mindset, but go for a very planned, you can say, in a planned way. And if you will move in a planned manner, there is no limit for growth. Remember, Saturn wants you to be within limits, but then slowly you can expand your limits, your horizon. Just don't trust your luck. Any task that tests your luck, like stock market, crypto, you should be specially away from that. Do not try to. This is the time of recovery. So first recover, first be a student, and then Saturn will make you a master. Cancer Ascendant. Saturn will move in your 8th house, and this is called Ashtama Shani if you are a Cancer moon sign. I made a video for that. But if you're a Cancer Ascendant and Saturn goes in your 8th house, this is a significant transit for you. It's a transit of great transformation. It's a transit that will call for significant changes in life, especially that is associated with 7th and 10th house, because when Saturn is in 8th, it will be second from 7th, and being the 7th Lord coming in 8th house, it is dragging the matters of 7th to the 8th. What can happen? It can bring transformation in your team. It can bring major changes in your career, in your marriage. Since 2020, Saturn was in Capricorn and it was aspecting your ascendant. So there was a chokehold kind of situation on Cancer zodiac sign. And this is now going to be released. Saturn will go in your 8th house. The only problem is that the moment Saturn goes in the Ashtama Bhava, it means Saturn kinds of reaches the blind spot, which means the help will come from divine. You will see that there will be a lot of divine interaction. You might see repeating numbers. You might see people helping you out of nowhere, and you might see positive energies reaching your way when you have no idea the source of where the source lies. So your task will be to reach to the source. And for that, you will have to do a lot of sadhana, pranayam, yoga. And more from the video, you will have to actually live this entire duration in a very optimistic and positive manner in order to magnify the good impact of this Saturn transit. Being the 7th Lord coming in the 8th house, it's very good for people who want to invest into new business, who wants to expand the new business, who wants to get involved into business with their spouse's family, who want to bring in collaboration, investment, who want to make big. Because when Saturn goes in 8th house, it will aspect your 2nd house, which gives you new opportunities to create a stable source of income, and basically it is there to give you a future proofing, like you earn so much that you can plan for retirement, you can plan for a happy life in the future, you can plan for big expenses. Definitely the investment towards properties, assets is on the cards. You can buy land. People who are involved in agriculture, who are involved in metallurgy, who are involved in real estate will see good boost in their career during this time. But 8th house is also occult energies. That means you also will see the interaction of occult energies with you, supernatural energies with you, and you will have to embrace it in a very non-tantric way. Tantra is also of different order. You just do not try to follow the abhichara kriya. That means the negative dark tantra. Don't go that path. Saturn in the 8th house will also make you work towards the 8th house. So you can practice astrology. You can learn a lot about astrology so that through astrology, Saturn can guide you. The divine message can come from anywhere. 8th house also talks about increasing the longevity, delaying something. So you might also experience an unexpected delay in some areas of your life, and you should not be worried about it, but keep moving, because this delay is for certain purpose, because Saturn is there to do its job. Let him do its job. Saturn's third aspect will fall on your 10th house. So you will also have to work on your core areas so that it can enhance your career, it can enhance your position. This Saturn will bring sudden dramatic transformation in your career. Maybe you will be said to relocate, maybe you will be asked to move to a different organization, maybe you will be suddenly getting an unexpected opportunity in your career, and that will be something that is delightful. Yes, it will be too heavy, the pressure will be there, you won't be able to adjust quickly, but that's what 8th house is, a sudden surprise, and you must ensure that the surprise is positive. Matters related to marriage will also see a sudden change, a sudden transformation. Suddenly things will change out of nowhere, and you will have to deal it on a day-to-day basis, case-to-case basis. You can't have a grand plan here, but rather you will have to be in the moment, in the present, to handle the situation. Whenever you are making investment, think of long term, but also think of today. Think long and think today. Control the way you speak, because your speech can create enemies. People involved in stock trading, cryptos, or any such similar speculative business will see a very positive boost, positive growth during this time. But because Saturn is not the planet that represents greed, it can give you enough to sustain, but it cannot give you enough to fulfill your wishes and desire. So you need to be very cautious if you are dealing with such kind of business, such kind of trade and commerce. You will have to be very realistic, you will have to be very practical, you will have to be very much grounded. Matters related to children and their education and their health, their marriage will concern you a lot. There can be transformation in their life that will concern you, that will always keep you on the toes, that will always act as a surprise. You need to be very humble, very accommodating, and you need to be very kind and understanding. So be a friend to your children. Rather than, before being a parent, be a friend. Your image, your reputation is on the card, so you will have to learn a lot. Saturn's 10th aspect falls on the 5th house. This is the time to accumulate the punya. So do as much seva, as much good karma as possible, so that the punya keeps driving, keeps rising, and that will help your life go into much positive direction and dimension. Those who are looking for marriage, those who are planning for marriage, those who are looking for a business partner, those who are looking to strike a business deal, for a tender, will see a sudden movement happening your way. So if you see something that is happening very quickly, mentally you need to be prepared. Things may not go as per plan. Things may just go as per plan decided by Saturn. And for you, it may be a surprise because you're not aware of those things. Whenever something goes in 8th house, you have no way to understand the grand plan of that planet. All you will have to do is, you will have to expect something positive, and whenever something comes, deal it then. It's like something pops up from the horizon and it was beyond your line of sight, and when something goes right, when it comes right in your face, now you know what it is. You get very less reaction time, but you will have to manage with that. So the reaction time in your life will be very less. So be prepared mentally. Will it be negative? Absolutely no. It will be positive. But then you also have to understand the role of Ashtama Shani here. Usually people see Ashtama Shani from Chandra, moon. But the 8th house energies from the ascendant will also affect you. Doing a particular sadhana, say Om Namah Shivaya, but you do it for take a sankalp of 2.5 years that every day for 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, you will continue this chanting. Strict regime, Kriya Yoga, Hatha Yoga, all this will help you realign your life and protect yourself from the dark and negative energies. Avoid yourself from wearing black, and on every Shani Amavasya, try to go to a Saturn temple, or at least with your whole heart, bow down in front of Saturn, so that Shani Dev has some greater transformation, greater thoughts of transformation, a positive one, and you don't have to face negative things. But I'm not saying that nothing will be negative. Things will be surprising, but things will not be detrimental. In the long run, you will understand its true cause and purpose. And more the worry, more the panic. And when things come right in your face, you will realize that the panic was useless. So before an emotion sets in your thought, before you decide about something, try to understand why it is, what can happen. So that's why I'm saying you have to live in the moment, not live in the future, not assume anything, don't anticipate something, be prepared. Be defensive, definitely not a transit of offense. This is a transit of defense. Your Bhagya Lord Jupiter is in 9th house, it will be in 10th, 11th, and it will support you brilliantly. Let Saturn do its job. You be humble, grounded. The more stronger your roots will be, stronger will be your existence. Go back to your scriptures and connect with your history. Leo Ascendant. Now, in case you are a Leo Ascendant, Saturn rules your 6th and 7th house. Now, with 6th and 7th house, Saturn rules your prarabdha karma, your disputes, your enemies, your struggle, your loans, your disease, but it also controls your finances. With 7th house, it controls most of the surroundings, your interaction with people, what kind of feedback you will get, and especially if you're a businessman and entrepreneur, Saturn is the planet which will decide whether you will become successful or you will ultimately fail in your life. Saturn takes control of the area that controls marriage, contracts, business deals, job. So you can see a lot of things are under the control of Saturn, and Saturn was in the 6th house. And for Leo, when Saturn was in 6th house, this was a time of continuous hard work, continuous delay of results, no matter how much efforts you put in. But also a lot of people saw justice. Matters were getting resolved, although the way it was getting resolved was not a pleasant way. Maybe you suffered a lot, or maybe you have to, let go of something in order to settle down the matter in your life. But the same Saturn will now enter your 7th house. 7th house is actually the natural place of Libra zodiac sign, the house that defines balance, the house that talks about equality, the house that talks about harmony. It is the middle path, and it is the amalgamation or fusion of two opposite forces, and that is why it is said to be house of marriage. Marriage is a very broader term, and a human marriage is only one part of it. It also means how you will cooperate, how you will coexist with opposite forces in this universe. So when Saturn goes there, it is going to make you experience the other realm. It is going to make you experience the opposite forces. It is going to make you experience the different aspects of life, something that is not unique to you, something that is new. And that is how the 7th house Saturn will take charge of your life. The 7th house Saturn, first of all, creates possibilities of a new business, of a new entrepreneurship, new startup, going into a new team, starting a new project, taking greater responsibility. Also, marriage is on the cards for a lot of people. If you are in Saturn Mahadasha, Antardasha, then definitely this is going to be extremely positive for you. But before you actually understand the power of Saturn here, the effect of the transit of Saturn, you need to understand the state of Sun in your birth chart. See, when you are born with Leo, that means you are born with a zodiac, the ascendant, which is controlled by Surya, the sun. Which means that there will be a natural kingly quality in your lifestyle. You will want to, you will always have that pride and that ego within you, to a smaller level, to a larger level. I'm not talking and not going there. I'm just talking about the fundamental nature of Leo. It is like a lion who wants to rule, who wants to dominate. If your sun is powerful and if sun is positive, this Saturn transit will be a golden era for you, because this is when you cooperate with your full potential with the opposite forces. And with opposite forces means, let's say art meets technology. Let's say science talks about Ayurveda and there is a fundamental research that happens. There is a fusion of ancient and modern. There is a fusion of king and the public. So it is when the power is not corrupt. It is when you are not clinging to the power or clinging to the authority, and you are ready to work with a different kind of dimensions. So when sun is positive for you, you will be ready to do all this. You will be ready to give up and let go of things and maybe restart a new process, which is very good for you. This will also take away the ego, a negative ego from you, not the positive ego. It will take away the negative ego, give you a new perspective of life, will teach you patience, will teach you how to sustain and how to establish yourself in a more Saturnian way. It is more like Saturn is trying to tell the Surya, the king, what lies beyond the boundary, what lies at the edge, so that the king can have a holistic picture. So you will also get a holistic picture of your life in this 2.5 years. Definitely the issues related to business, contracts, marriages will be resolved because Saturn is in its own office. And because Saturn is in its office, you can expect something positive, something to build up you. It will make you work really hard, but it will also carry the 6th house energies to the 7th house. That means there might be also a certain level of challenges that you will have to face. Obviously, it will be more like an examination. But for horoscope who have a negative sun, say you have sun in 8th house, sun in 6th house, and it's weak. It's not powered by Jupiter. It's not in a favorable zodiac sign. Somehow the sun is weak in your chart. Maybe if the Shadbal score or the Ashtakvark score is weaker, suddenly this Saturn would want you to stop doing what you're doing and take a completely different route. Because see, Saturn is not your enemy. Shani wants to support you. Shani wants to support you, but maybe you are wrong. You are unable to do something, unable to get out of a situation. So Shani will try to hold your hand and pull you out. You may not like that. Say for example, you have a startup and it's failing. And Shani will come and tell you, don't do this, but do that. But you always wanted to do what you're doing right now and you don't want to quit or leave. Saturn will force you to leave that because that's not right for you and will give you something which may be boring, monotonous, not what you want, but that will help you sustain, and in the long run you will realize that it was the right thing to do. So you have to understand that in case of a weak sun, be ready to accept the change. Be ready to change. Be ready to accommodate yourself with the surroundings. Be ready to bring that flexibility within you. Because if you are stubborn, if you will become too rigid in yourself, if you will try to use the negative sun, Saturn can break the ego in many ways possible, and you won't realize how your life will become a struggle. This Saturn can easily drag 6th house energies in the 7th house, can give you problems through your marriage, can give you trouble through your business, and it will ask you to understand why Saturn is trying to do something. So be open to all those changes. Also, Saturn's third aspect will fall on the 9th house, which means it will make you go for a dharmic manthan. That means it would want you to work towards your own dharma. What is your duty? So as a king, it will remind you of your fundamental responsibility. And you can be a king of your family, king of your life, king of your own soul. And Saturn will remind you, and then you must do what you are supposed to do. Because it is Vakra Drishti, and Saturn will keep on troubling you by making you meet people who can corrupt your mind, who can destroy the destiny. It can make you go into financial losses, because that's how Saturn will make you learn. It's the hard way, and you have to understand that. Saturn's 7th aspect will fall on your ascendant. That means it will also alter your personality. Initially, you might find it slightly difficult, but slowly you will see that your personality is transforming for good. You need to take care of your health, and you have to follow the middle path and handshake with all experience of your life, and try to learn what you can, and then get out of the negative and always focus on the positive. The day you become pessimistic, these energies will collapse on your head. And then Saturn's 10th aspect will fall on your 4th house. Now, definitely when 4th and 9th house are now aspected by Saturn, it means you have to respect your parents, you have to respect elderly, you have to do something for your country. It will remind you your dharma towards your nation, towards your parents, towards your society, and it will ask you to do what you are supposed to do at that location, at that point. Saturn's 10th aspect on the 4th house also talks about real estate, asset building, second-hand cars, say for example. So all the business areas will grow. But then when you get something out of that business, when the universe gives you, what can you return to the universe is the message Saturn will want you to understand when it will be in the Aquarius zodiac sign. So when Shani is in Kumbh Rashi, it will definitely want you to explore new horizon. It would definitely want you to pay back your karma, maybe by karmic way or maybe by financial manner. Saturn will want you to come in harmony with people around you. Drop your ego, surrender, and you will see that this Saturn, which is in its own zodiac sign forming a kind of a Shashyog, is definitely going to put you into a place where actually you can become a king, a true, positive, benevolent king, because Saturn is actually a kingmaker. Virgo Ascendant. Virgo is going to experience Saturn transit in the 6th house. Now, try to understand, from past 2.5 years, it has been quite an experience for you. Saturn's transit in the 5th house gave you so much of learning, so much of teaching. Saturn really influenced your mind. Saturn made you understand so many aspects of your life, and now you are a changed person. And the same Saturn now will go in your 6th house. Now, usually the 6th house transit of Saturn is said to be a very positive, a transit that will focus more on, deleting the negativity from your life. So whether you are a Virgo moon sign, whether you are a Virgo ascendant, this is going to be a very positive move of Shani. But there are few do's and don'ts, and there are few negative impact of this. in case you don't follow the path and the teachings of Saturn, which you must be aware. And the first thing is that, see, this is a Saturn taking control of all the Trikbhava. That means 6th, 8th and 12th house. Saturn will be positioning itself in the 6th house in the Mula Trikona zodiac sign of Aquarius. Second, Saturn will aspect the 8th house. Now, 8th house is called the debilitation house of Saturn because it is Aries zodiac sign, and Saturn's third aspect will fall on that house. This is going to create a lock on the 7th house in spite of Jupiter being there. And 6th and 8th house will create a powerful, I will say, block on the 7th, and which means it is also going to put you into situation and circumstances when you will find yourself there, unless you exert a spiritual force, you won't be able to get out of that. That's point one. Second, it is going to affect your health. So you will have to work tremendously towards your health to pull yourself out from any health situation, and you will have to be very much aligned to the Ayurvedic practices, the holistic lifestyle, because if your lifestyle is bad, this Saturn is going to make you work more towards it, and the first thing Saturn might do is actually make you sick so that your attention goes there. But if your attention is there and if you're trying to do, the gods and the deities know that you're working and they will support you instead of creating any blockages for you. And the third is that Saturn's 7th aspect will fall on your 12th house. Now, when Saturn's 7th aspect falls on the 12th house, it is going to judge how much you are going to let go. Definitely, it's a transit where all the negativity will be addressed. Then what has to be deleted will be deleted, whether you like or not. So it's a brilliant time to actually turn out. It's like, it's like a car going into a washing room and the car is being washed, and once it comes out well clean and polished, it's a brand new thing. So you will be cleansed internally, spiritually during this time, and it is therefore going to give you such positivity. But then you will obviously have to address the pain areas of life. And when you talk about 6, 8 and 12, you don't talk about a particular area of life. You don't talk about money. You don't talk about, it can be anything. For you listening, it can be a monetary problem. It can be a family issue. It can be a medical issue. Our life are different. Each soul has its own karmic path, its own zodiac horoscope, its own Saturn's expression. You have to understand how Saturn is actually expressing itself in your own horoscope. And if you have Saturn in 6, 8, 12 or 3rd house, especially in 6, 8 and 12, and you are a Virgo ascendant or Virgo moon sign, then this can actually be slightly troublesome for you and you have to address Saturn. But remember, this is a Saturn in its own zodiac sign, in the what you can say, the house of karmic results. So you should expect problems, but also the guided solution. What planets are asking you to do is follow a strict path. So definitely for you, sadhana becomes extremely important. What is sadhana? Sadhana is basically praying to gods, praying to deities, following the path of spirituality, maybe following Kriya Yoga. Even if you are an atheist, following the path of humanity. Fixing your goal, fixing your target, and then doing everything to reach there. Following a particular pattern in your life and not breaking that pattern. Breaking from the old pattern by creating a new pattern for yourself. And if you don't do that, if you are very loose in your life, if you procrastinate, then this Saturn will start creating problems. Because the 3rd house from Saturn is your 8th house. Now the strength of Shani and the 3rd Vakra Drishti of Shani falls in your 8th house. So it can create trouble from areas you won't even know. It can create unexpected problems. It is like a blind test. But when you will focus on Saturn's true motive, then 8th house energies will be rattled, the negativity will come out, The halahal will go out and then the amrit will come. A lot of people think that 8th house is house of death. Actually, no. 8th house is not the house of death. 8th house is actually the house of longevity. 8th house talks about forces of nature that can support your life. Doing prana mudra during this time, doing the pranayam, focusing, deep meditation, vipassana dhyan, all this will help you in the long run, especially during this time. And if you are a Virgo moon and Virgo ascendant, then this becomes extremely prominent for you, and sadhana path becomes your true path. Rest of obviously everything else depends upon the true Saturn position and the own horoscope, but the theme of the Shani will be to take control of the Trik Bhav and once for all free you from the problems. Extremely, extremely positive. The problems usually can come from your marriage, from the circumstance, from the surroundings, basically when you will be working with team, when you will try to expand your business. See, this is where Saturn will see how much effort you have already put in your life. Are you struggling from a very long time? Then Saturn will start solving those issues by giving you proper team, giving you new job, putting you into the right position. But if you have been living a very not so positive life, your path is not towards the moksha, you don't understand or you're behaving in a way which is very Rahu-like, then definitely Saturn's third aspect on Rahu will break all the myths and illusions and will make you face the reality. And Jupiter is in the 7th house, guiding you to that. If you won't listen to Jupiter until April, then Jupiter will also leave and reach the house of Aries, which is your 8th house, and ultimately come under the third aspect of Saturn. Now, why is Jupiter so important? Because it rules your 4th and 7th house. This can create tensions between spouses, tension between business partners. You can ask your investors to invest in your money, invest in your business, and then you may lose the money. It can create certain financial distress. But on the other hand, a 6th house Saturn can also churn the ocean and give you the crux. Can give you what you can't even imagine, something so positive. Because Saturn's 10th aspect will be on the 3rd house. It wants you to take the initiative. And if you will not take the initiative and you won't be the driver of your life, and if you sit in the back seat, then Saturn will push you to take the call, push you to be in the driver's seat, and that is when the major problem arises, and you may claim that you did not have the right time. But I'm sure there will be many Virgo natives, many people who have Virgo as ascendant, who will claim that this became the best time of their life. Their growth just exponentially grew, salaries grew, there was people who will support you, because Saturn can bring people who can support you. It's like the support system that you were craving for, and now you have it. Yes, this is not the time to be an individual player. This is the time to build a team. This is the time to build an ecosystem. This is the time to help as many people as you can, and people who will involve people who need that support, who need that hand holding. Say if you involve people who are in need of money, who are in need of work, and you are creating an ecosystem with that people, you are reaching the bottommost layer, you will see that your business will grow leaps and bounds. If in your marriage, you are understanding the pain areas of your spouse and you are actually addressing the core issue of your spouse, their in-laws, and you become humble, humanitarian, then you will see that when you address their problem, the relationship becomes much more smoother. The bond becomes extremely strong. So remember, Virgo, this transit of Saturn is not about yourself. This transit of Saturn is about everybody else around you, and you included. It's not an individual growth, but it's a holistic growth that you're talking about. And with Ketu being in the 2nd house, insecurities might be there. There will be some insecurities. Maybe you won't enjoy the assets, and hard work will always be there. But well, that's life. Nothing comes easy for you or for anybody. But with Saturn aspecting Scorpio and Saturn aspecting Aries, while Saturn takes control of your disputes, and remember, Saturn is your fifth lord, so it is obviously going to be good. When fifth lord goes in sixth house, the punya dissolves the papa. So whatever good you have done will now give you the result and will act in your favor, and all the negative Martian energies will now become positive. So your efforts will slowly show results. You will slowly see that the things are moving in the right direction. Where you will have to be careful, bringing money of other people or while managing other people's money. Something that involves commission. When you are getting involved in matters of your in-laws, well, you will have to, but then you will have to be very careful about it. When you are not doing any sadhana, you're not doing yoga, you're not disciplined, then there is a serious issue. And if you are not addressing your own body, and if you're not the driver of your body, then your body will start giving you feedback that you won't like, and you will be forced to become the driver of your body. So laziness and inertia of rest is your biggest enemy. Proactively take the decision, proactively take the call, work on your strength, focus on your weakness, and constant working, constant churning of the ocean, constant hit and trial will lead you to the path of success, and it will be an excellent Mahadasha, excellent transit for you. Excellent. Compare Jupiterian force. Jupiter is in 7th, then Jupiter will be in 8th, then Jupiter will be in 9th, then Jupiter will be in 10th. So the flow of Jupiterian energy is also taking a dip in the Ashtama Bhav, in the dip of the insecurity, and then finally deciding your future for you. And this is why it wants you to become a karma yogi. Visit spiritual places, join a spiritual group, meditate daily, be more humble. And 6th house, the first thing about 6th house is service. So people involved in service industry will see great boost. If you are a freelancer, you will see growth and growth of money. If you are into job, you will see good opportunities. And if you can join an NGO, or if you can start doing some charity, if you can engage in the humanitarian activity, social service, then the Shani Dev will be pleased with your humanitarian action, and you will start getting the result of your karma, the positive results. Ego is not going to survive, trust me. Ego, negative ego, will not survive. Ahamkara, beyond a certain point, will not survive. Very good for spiritual growth. Very good for Kundalini Jagran. You can serve your Guru during this time. The more humble you are, the more down to earth you are, the more grounded you are, the better your life will become. Reading Bhagavad Gita, Ved, scriptures, to whatever level. We are in Kali Yuga. We may not even have the true real knowledge, but that's fine. God created this yuga. He knows what's going to happen. And the divine knows our mental state. So what we should do is we should show that we are trying to go there. That's enough. Some or the other way, the universe will come to your rescue. If you are in too much of pain, you can chant Gajendra Moksha. This is the time when you wholeheartedly connect with the gods and the deities. Chanting Shani Mantra, Neelanjanam Samabhasam, Raviputram Yamagrajam, Chaya Martanda Shambhutam, Tam Namami Shanashcharam. This mantra is also going to work for you brilliantly. And if you focus on the Rahu and Ketu, what will happen after October? We will definitely discuss more in detail later on in the year. But to give you a brief picture, Ketu will move on your ascendant, Rahu will move on your 7th house. That is going to happen after October 2023. And then for 18 months, Ketu will be on your ascendant. Definitely it is not about you. It is when you become a true leader. Not only in your career, but also in your relationship. And this is the time when you will realize who you truly are. By breaking all the shackles, by giving you all the positivity, making you work hard. So it's quite an experience, it's a joyful ride. Accept it, and you will see that you will transcend to a higher dimension. Libra Ascendant. Libra is the exalted zodiac sign of Saturn. It is the sign of balance, harmony, relationships. It's the zodiac sign where Saturn becomes powerful. And this is also a zodiac sign which is, you can say, it's a test for the king. The ego dissolves and the humanity develops. It is also a zodiac where you meet your expectations, you meet your desire, and you decide which one should you carry forward and which one you will have to do compromise with. It's a very unique and a powerful zodiac sign. It is a zodiac ruled by Venus. So definitely there is a lot of, I will say, it's a time when the day meets the night. It's neither too hot nor too cold, neither too bright nor too dark. It's like the perfect time, Sandhya Kal. Now when you see Saturn's zodiacs with respect to Libra, you will understand why Saturn loves this zodiac sign. With respect to Libra, Saturn rules 5th and 4th house. 4th house being Capricorn and the 5th house being Aquarius. Now, one Kendra and one Trikona, one central, one trine. Two pillars of your life is in control of Saturn. Saturn was in your 4th house from 2.5 years. So you can see it made you work so much from your home, for your family. It must have troubled your comfort zone. This must have affected your career because Saturn was aspecting 6th and 10th house. It is right now aspecting 6th and 10th house, and this Saturn was in its own zodiac sign. So it was a very powerful yoga in your horoscope, Saturn in own house in 4th house. But you also have to understand that 4th house can give you sleepless nights because that's the time of night, midnight. And when Saturn goes there, this can create phobias, fear. This can create situation where life goes into an unbalanced state, and then Saturn is trying to bring into balance because while Saturn was in Capricorn, the 10th aspect falls in Libra. So the karma of Shani is to create balance. And that balance was brought by Saturn in different ways for different people depending upon your own horoscope. But now Saturn's movement is towards your 5th house, Aquarius zodiac sign, Vayu Tattva. And the unique thing is that till October end 2023, Ketu will be on your ascendant, and this Ketu and Saturn will form a unique trine, which is a very, very spiritual trine combination, trinal energy exchange. And Saturn and Ketu, when they are in trine, be ready for the biggest transformation. This will uproot you, plant you into some place else. This will test you. This will trigger a lot of emotions. This is going to completely change the way you experience life. 5th house is house of mantra, knowledge, vidya, education. It is also a place where dharma is reflected because it is 9th from 9th. So when Saturn goes in 5th house, it wants you to work for the community, for the social cause, for a higher purpose. It is when you transcend beyond your own natural boundaries and you think of a higher cause, of a higher purpose, of your divine duty, your divine dharma, and your dharma to be a student of life. 5th house Saturn will definitely make you work towards learning process. There will be an acute learning curve that will enter your life and you will change forever. 5th house is also called as Mantra Bhava. It is also your solar plexus region. So Saturn is going to make you face your fears. Rahu in the 7th house is going to bring in the situation, and Saturn's third aspect on your 7th house is directly encountering the Rahuvian energy. It is a Saturnian practicality trying to fight the illusion. Be ready for the Samudra Manthan within you, and the experience that you will get is so crucial, so important for you, that if you can draw some values from the experience of life, at least in 2023, Libra Ascendant and Moon sign natives will see the greatest spiritual growth. At least to whatever level you have seen till now, you are going to be catapult. It's a catapult spiritual growth. It's a slingshot. Because of the Ketu energy, you will lose your identity, and Saturn will make you learn new identity. The only thing that you will have to be careful is, do not seek validation from outside and dependency on the surrounding or the feedback from the surrounding. If that is trying to define you, then there is a problem. Feedback is good. You should work on the feedback. But if feedback is all that you seek, if validation is all that you seek, then this is going to be a very bad time, because Saturn in 5th will make you go through all the tough experience so that you can break the illusion one by one, and it will be like walking on broken glass. But on the other hand, Saturn in 5th will make you learn, will make you take some certification. Your knowledge will be challenged, so you will upgrade your knowledge and your expansion will happen. A lot of people think that if Saturn sits in a house, it is going to create restrictions. Well, will you live in a house where there is no gate, where there is no lock, where there is no window? I don't think so. I don't think so. So you yourself put your life, your physical self, your family in restrictions. So restrictions are good, right? But tendency of the human mind is, somehow it hates that restriction, whereas it always wants to be in a safe space. So that's the difference. Saturn is trying to create that safe space for you, and you must respect that safe space, the boundary that will give you safety. So it is going to talk a lot about that Lakshman Rekha, the boundary of protection, and you must never cross that boundary. Yes, you can expand that horizon very slowly. So it is going to be a challenging time for business. It is going to be a challenging time in career. But for the first 6 months, if you try to prove, if you try to set the right boundaries, take the right decisions, then there is no looking back, because it's a 5th house Saturn in Mula Trikona, absolutely working to improve your knowledge. It is going to give you great positive gains, because while it is in the 5th house, Saturn will aspect Leo. It may not give you exactly the kind of, say, salary package. It may not give you the business growth that you're looking for, but it will teach you the realistic numbers. Say you want to start a business, you want investment. You are valuing your business at a certain, say, X amount of rupees or dollars. But Saturn will tell you the right valuation, the right thing to do. However, it may be less, but that is more practical. And that practical approach will transform the way you earn, will transform the way you gain, will make you know more about yourself. And this is a transit that will first empty your cup and then fill it again with a new knowledge. So a lot of unlearning will happen, and then relearning will happen during this time. And that is the theme for Libra. And on a very global, on a very broad, mundane level, because it is in its own zodiac sign, it is going to impact all the Dhanabhavas. How? Saturn will aspect your 2nd house, Saturn will aspect your 7th house, and Saturn will aspect your 11th house. When 2, 7, 11 gets under control of Saturn, you must know why you are earning, why you are working. There must be a realization, there must be a cognizance of your efforts. Otherwise, Saturn is aspecting Marrakesh houses, 2nd and 7th house, and can heavily impact family life, can create financial issues if you do not follow the path of Saturn. If you are not an obedient student, and if you try to be the master before you learn the subject, then definitely you are going to face difficulties during this time. Saturn here will want you to focus more on the personal space, marriage, family, food, relatives, people who care about you, and then help them, work towards them. Know more about other people, and then what can you learn? So the best thing what you can do, read biographies of people who have achieved something. Draw inspiration. And when you will do that, Libra, you will experience a beautiful transition into a very different yuga, a very different state of mind. This Saturn can transcend you, but also will show you the reality. Hey, this is the reality. Maybe suddenly you will realize that you were fighting for a cause or a talent and you were fighting for a position, but you don't deserve. Then Saturn will say, you don't deserve this. Do you want to practice this more? Do you want to educate yourself more and go to a position where you deserve? Or would you like to back out and do something else? That will be the dilemma. Should I continue? Should I pursue further? Or should I stop? And this is when your personal horoscope will come into picture. Saturn's aspect on business houses, marriage houses, can also increase tension if there is already a business problem, and you may have to go deep into the problem, understand it firsthand. Don't believe all that you hear or see, but try to experience it in the first hand, and then you try to solve. People who are looking for childbirth, couples who are trying for childbirth, will see something positive during this time. Also, you will see that you have to spend more time, you will have to devote more time towards your children. It may be a project that you treat like your children, something that you create. So Saturn is going to make things slightly boring and monotonous, because until you make things perfect, Saturn won't leave you. So it's a transit of perfection. It is a constant grinding, shaping, reshaping, and then polishing it so that you become a perfect human being. From financial level, if I see the positive side, it's the brilliant transit. Over 2.5 years, it will give you the exact stability that you need and the exact health that you need to reach that path, because health is wealth. If your body is not supportive, it does not matter how much money you have. It really doesn't matter. So Saturn is also going to create fear inside you, and that fear will stop you from taking certain decisions. Now it is your duty to counter that fear with positive energy, positive vibration, not feeding yourself, not consuming dark things, not consuming negative things. And this is the time when you focus more on the solar plexus region, do more yoga towards the stomach, eat less, take care of the gastrointestinal changes that will happen in your body, and focus on the sattvic food, sattvic mind. 5th house means mantra, so do some sadhana, tapasya, constantly meditating, trying to pursue divine energy becomes the biggest karma of your life. Help the needy and help someone who don't get food. Feed them, and you will see that the purpose of life will easily come in your way and you will find the right track. Scorpio Ascendant. Now, if you're a Scorpio Ascendant, then definitely Saturn's 4th house transit will have a great impact on you, your personality. Because the moment Saturn crosses the boundary of Capricorn and Aquarius and reaches Aquarius, the 10th aspect of Shani will be on your 1st house. From 2020, Saturn was in your 3rd house. And then Ketu was established in your 1st house, while Rahu was in the 7th. So Ketu in the 1st and Saturn in the 3rd created a Pap Kartari Yoga in your second house. So you experience something very negative, especially on a very personal front. I see a lot of comment of people with Scorpio Ascendant, and the moment you have a negative Mars, a weak Mars in your chart, it really created a lot of problem. But now, Ketu has moved out of your Ascendant, moved in your 12th house, and Saturn is moving out of your 3rd house, and it moves to your 4th house. Combine all of this, and this talks about moksha or liberation from problems, but what you will have to pay? You will have to pay with your comforts. When Ketu goes in 12th and Saturn goes in 4th, the two houses that gives sleep and comfort are now rigged with negative planets or malefic planets, as you say, on a very material level, Saturn and Ketu, which means it is going to unsettle you, uproot you from current life, and put you and plant you into some other state. Now it is up to you whether you plant yourself to a positive state or you decide to go in a negative state. Because Saturn and Ketu combination in trine can be highly spiritual and saintly, or can be highly derogatory, can be highly negative, like a negative tantra. So here you have to hold your position and tell Shani Dev that you are ready to walk the path of divine spirituality. Only if you are being too negative in your life and your karma is extremely negative, these planets will decide otherwise and take you to a very different path, and you will have to understand the dark reality and ultimately regret and then say that you don't want to walk that path. Please pull me out of the negative and I am ready to walk the path of spirituality, and that will be like a push, because planets are not your enemies. A 4th house Saturn is a Saturn that is a midnight Shani. People working in night shifts will see great boost, great progress. Your ideas will come during the night, and you will see that you will have to stay late in the night working. Work pressure might increase. But Ketu in the 12th is asking you to get rid of that is unnecessary, and if something is affecting your health, you may have to take a call to transform yourself, maybe a new career, maybe a new job, something which you can manage, and what you cannot manage have to be differentiated, and what you cannot manage has to be addressed immediately. A 4th house Saturn aspecting the 1st and 6th and 10th is a Saturn that wants you to work and build an empire by building new values, working round the clock, focusing on your ideas, and then living a disciplined life, yet a meaningful life. Because Saturn's 3rd aspect will fall on your 6th house where Rahu is, so your entire focus has to be towards your duties, prarabdha, loans, dispute, enemies, all the negative things. So the first thing that you will have to do is bring discomfort in your life so that you address that negative things. If you are lazy, if you are avoiding the negative energies for a very long time now, Saturn wants you to focus there. If you won't, if you still avoid, if you still don't listen, Saturn will drag you there. But if you do focus on the negative things, like if you want to give up, say you want to buy an iPhone, but you have a bank loan, a credit card. You can buy an iPhone, but you choose to close the credit card completely so that you don't have any debt on your head. So Saturn is going to see what you decide, whether you still go for an iPhone or you choose to close the debt and then see whether you can afford that iPhone, and then you can, because nobody is stopping you from living your life. Now, your task will be to close the debt first and then go for your wishes. Close the dispute. Say you have a dispute with your relative or with your loved ones or a close friend. Saturn will say, leave your ego aside, try to see if the terms can be made better. If you can kill the enmity in spite of you not liking the process, can you go there and address the situation? For students, say for example, you may feel lazy. You may feel procrastinated. You would want to delay the inevitable. But Saturn will want you to face the thing, face the fear, and take the challenge head on. And that is why your personality, that means your physical existence, your prarabdha karma, and your name, fame, career, longevity, everything is now under control of Saturn. Remember, when Saturn is in Aquarius, Saturn will aspect your 10th house, which has Leo zodiac sign. So all the fame is also under the control of Saturn. If you have a very strong Mars, if you have a very strong Saturn, if you have a strong moon in your chart, you will understand this process. You will understand the grand plan of Shani and you will work towards that. But if you are listening to this message and if you have a weak Saturn, weak Mars, weak moon, then try to understand that Saturn has a certain intention, an intention where Saturn wants you to become uncomfortable and do all the hard work. Maybe you will feel that you are lonely, you are alone, you are not getting help. Why me? But then, this is the prarabdha. Why is it going beyond a certain level? What should you do? That is a concept of personal horoscope analysis. Here we are talking about the theme of the transit. This is also going to be beneficial for people who wants to leave their home, go to a far off place, live in isolation and work. It is going to be exceptionally good for people who want to build your career, build a dream, follow their passion, and they are ready to leave all the comfort behind. So it's a transit of hard work. It's a transit of tireless, sleepless nights, working day in and day out. And all the blood and sweat will pay off very soon. Because after all, it's a Saturn in own zodiac sign in Mula Trikona, in the zodiac Aquarius, which is the 11th house of Kalpurush, ultimately talking about karma phal. And if you are already doing what Saturn wants you to do, then this Saturn is going to completely destroy the negativity of the 6th, lift you from the 10th house by making you famous, control your physical issues, take care of your health, give you right guidance, and also give you the necessary comfort. Yes, the comfort of Saturn is not like the comfort of Venus. It's like you have everything, but you still choose to be simple. So Saturn will give you comfort if you live a simplistic life. Simple living, high thinking. That's the message for Scorpio Ascendant. Sagittarius Ascendant. Saturn is the ruler of your 2nd and 3rd house. You must also know that since Saturn was in 2nd house from 2020, this gave you so much of financial trouble, family issues. You were restricted. And you were restricted not only from your value system, you were also bound by rules, and also financially you were tied. And people who have really worked hard and you are a Sagittarius moon or ascendant also did see great financial growth, but this growth must have been either consumed in some or the other activity, or it was more like an essential growth. Because Saturn is not a planet that will give you luxury. Saturn will make sure that you get what you deserve. You are getting surplus so that you have something to give. And Saturn is a platform building transit, these kind of Saturn transits. So it must have given you a kind of a platform on which you can stand and deliver in the future. And now is the time to deliver. On 17th of January, this Saturn will make its move in your 3rd house, and 3rd house is the house of initiatives. It's your courage. It's the time to prove that you are the one who can be a one man standing, last man standing. You have that strength and you can take matters in your own hand because the platform is now there for you. And yes, you may feel that my platform is not ready, or you may feel that I was gifted by this platform. It totally depends on your soul's journey in this birth. Each horoscope is different. But the grand scheme of Saturn transit will be to test your courage, to test your initiatives. And the first thing that a Sagittarius ascendant native should do is to control your anger, control your life's energy and life's force, and regulate your actions and your expressions. You have to work towards your soft skills. You have to work towards the way you express, especially formal expression, say in career or maybe in delegation or in a corporate environment. Saturn in the third house also wants you to take matters in your own hand, especially matters that can actually alter your destiny, change the course of life, which means such opportunities will come your way, and it becomes a great transit, a kind of transit that will also dislocate you, that will also put you into a different position, take you to a different place, and it will also give you access to areas of life which was till now inaccessible. The funds that were locked might come back. You might be able to access those areas. It will give you new areas to work, it will give you new opportunities to work, and it will ask you to rethink your career, re-evaluate your career, and if needed, go to a different track, take a different path. So definitely for the next 1.5 years at least, you will see that you will see great turnarounds in your career, great turnarounds in your way of working, your approach towards your life, and how patient suddenly you will become. Discipline is the only way. See, when Saturn is in your hand, it is like your hands are tied, and you will have a very less degree of freedom. The movement will be smaller, but it will be a very small calculated set of movement. It's like solving a Rubik's cube or putting pieces of jigsaw puzzle. You have to place the right piece at the right position. No matter how, if you go haphazard, if you go random, if you just try to throw arrow in thin air, if you just fire a blind shot, it might have worked before, it won't work now. This is the time for strong commitment. You will have to work hard. Things will not be easy on you. But then it is the time that you have to prove what you can actually achieve. Your hands are tied, the degree of freedom is less. So one step at a time. If you try to force yourself, then things will not happen. It is like you will have to be like a fluid. You will have to go with the wave without thinking too much. Plan your future, put one step at a time, because it will be as if you are trying to walk on a slippery surface. There is a very high chance that you will fall if you commit mistakes. So before you take any initiative or any action, and it can be anything, you must think twice. And if you have planned, if you have discussed, if you know what you're doing, you will see that you will get the positive result. This is also the time when your relationship with your brothers will come to practical terms. Your relationship with your siblings will come to practical terms. Your neighbor may need you. So basically, in short, you will have to be there for your family members. You will have to be the strong arm of the family, the strong pillar of the family, and also you will have to be a good Samaritan. This is a Saturn which will have a direct aspect on the 9th house. So Saturn is going to see if your initiatives are as per your dharma. So Sagittarians, here is the news for you. You must go to your horoscope. With whatever knowledge you have, with whatever level of expertise you have, at least go to your horoscope, see what is your dharma. There must be, and there is actually, a particular reason of birth. If you already know, if there is an inner calling, fine. If you don't know, at least try out few things which you think is the reason of your birth. It may be helping somebody. It may be following a particular cause. It may be simply exploring yourself. It may be adhyatma, it may be to earn money, it may be to become a genius software engineer, it may be to become a musician. It can be anything. There is a wide variety of possibilities. Saturn will directly aspect your ninth house. That means dharma. So find your dharma and start doing it, because Saturn is going to judge you. And Saturn will also judge you through your own circle, through the people that you know, and people will try to comment on your actions and they will comment on who you really are. So be ready to prove yourself. But if you follow your dharma and if you stick to that particular path, all your wishes will come true. Saturn will guide you, and through your own hands and through your own karma, he will actually put you into the right path, which automatically will result in the wish fulfillment. Saturn in the third house also talks about the beginning of the initiative to fulfill a desire. Say 2 years before, you wanted to play a guitar. You didn't get a time. So now Saturn will ask you, hey, do you want to fulfill that desire? Do you have time? And if yes, you might take initiatives through that areas, fulfilling your long desire that was always in your heart. Those things are possible during this time. It's a very good time for industrial people, people working in factories who want to build a factory, manufacturing plant, who work in pottery, handicrafts, or related fields, who work in petrochemical industries. All these things are going to work really well during the Saturn transit in the sign of Aquarius. And with its aspect to the ninth house, it also talks about your initiatives towards pilgrimage. So during the Saturn transit, try to visit as many temples as you can, as many ancient sites as you can, and try to learn about it, because Saturn is not just going and visiting and clicking picture. Saturn is about gaining experience, the first-hand experience of things. So instead of watching vlogs, go there and see things for yourself, because this is a transit of experience. It is going to make you so matured that if today you have to explain a thing or a point in say 10 sentences, after 2 years it will hardly take you 1 sentence, and that will carry higher weight than what you speak now. That is how your communication will also change. It will become heavily matured, very diplomatic, and this will give you an opportunity to strike new business deals. You can work with people of higher status. With status, I mean somebody who has proved himself in the society. And with Saturn aspecting the ninth house, it will also take you to foreign countries. It will also take you to in lot of traveling. But yes, everything will have an experience. So if there are some hiccups, some bad events, say you got a delayed flight, or you missed a train, or you missed a bus, don't get panicked or frustrated. Just enjoy the moment, because Saturn is trying to give you a little bit of taste, a bit of flavor of every event and every part of life, so that you have this complete picture of everything. You are on top of everything. Saturn will also aspect your 12th house, which is very good for people who want to buy a property in a foreign country, who want to build a career in a foreign country, who wants to join in a multinational company, who wants to do a business of export and import, who wants to go out and study in abroad. All these things will become possible for Sagittarius ascendant. Scientists, research workers who are like into say data warehousing, data analytics, AI, niche skills, all these technologies will get the necessary boost when Saturn will be in Aquarius for Sagittarius ascendant. From the health perspective, you will have to be very, very careful what you digest. See, the capacity to digest the emotions and the capacity to digest the feedback is going to define your mettle during this transit. Saturn's third aspect will be falling on the 5th house. So Saturn is going to watch what karma are you doing to gather the punya, the positive energy. Because if you don't, Saturn will fill you with the negative energy, maybe a disease, maybe a lot of obstacles and problems, which might feel like it is going against the flow of the tide. But this is for your own good, because only when you will have a problem is when you will try to find a solution. And solution will come when you absorb positive energy. So either wait and let Saturn force you, or from day one, start showing that positive energy, that enthusiasm, that commitment. Because when Saturn goes in third house, it will make you a boring person. Because Saturn is slow, it introduces lethargy, it introduces inertia. So you will have to be very careful with the food that you eat, because your digestion will go slow. So you'll have to be very careful, eat sattvic food. Anything that stays longer in your gut is going to cause problems. So be very careful from that part. Sattvic light food, eating very light in the night, maybe not eating in the night, intermittent fasting. These are some of the ways by which you can improve your health. One more thing that can happen during this time is Saturn can trouble your solar plexus or the solar plexus chakra. Fear can come in, anxiety can come in. So that has to be controlled with proper knowledge and understanding, and not reacting to situation. Because Saturn in the third house will put a lid on your reaction. You will simply not react. Maybe it is by purpose, or maybe you know that you can't. Try to understand and live in this isolated environment, because that will give you the boost. Do not forget, Jupiter is traveling on your 4th house, and then it will move in your 5th house. So definitely your ascendant is strong. Rahu is in the 5th house, and Saturn is in your bahubal, your courage. So this is called iron-fisted effort. In Hindi we say, there's a phrase, 100 sonar ki, ek lohar ki. That means one punch like an iron punch, and the task is done. That is what Saturn will do to you. It will make you wait and wait and wait, and then in one shot, you will become successful. This is not a success by chance, but this is a success by proper probability. And with Saturn aspecting the 5th house, it wants you to take care of everything, especially your food, your punya karma, your positivity, as well as you will have to give up your comfort zone. You might have to travel away from your family. You will have to travel a lot just to execute a task, and maybe a lot of hit and trial will happen during this time. Everything is positive because this is preparing. Remember, Saturn is your 2nd and 3rd house. It is the lord of wealth, and that is second from itself. So Saturn is actually causing a bhavam for a Sagittarius ascendant. 2nd lord, second from itself in the 3rd house. So definitely it will generate wealth. But because Saturn is a planet of hard work, only by hard work and proper discipline and calculation, you will be able to become successful. You will get rid of all the loans. Saturn will say, eat less, build more. So consume less, save more is the theme of this transit if you want to see financially. It is also going to aspect 2 trines, 5th and 9th. So definitely this impact of Saturn is much more pronounced if you have Saturn Mahadasha, Saturn Antardasha, and even in Saturn Pratyantardasha. Also, when Moon is moving over Saturn in the transit, say for 2.5 years, try to list down all the dates when Moon is over Saturn. That means when Moon is in Aquarius every month, that is the 2 to 3 day of time when you will have to simply focus. Because for Sagittarius, Moon is your 8th house. 8th lord will be 8 places away from itself in Aquarius over Shani. It will be the time of tremendous chaos and transformation. You have to take it positively, This is the time to take initiatives, bold action, disciplined, well-calculated decisions. Be ready to bow down in the feet of God and be ready to be flexible yet rigid. Determination is necessary, commitment is necessary, and discipline is a must for you. Capricorn Ascendant. In case you are a Capricorn Ascendant, you are getting the maximum relief when Saturn will move out from your Ascendant and will go to the second house. First of all, it removes the grip from your Ascendant. So the pressure is relieved. It goes to the second house, which is called Dhanabhava. So it is going to increase your karma towards earning money. It will increase your efforts that you will put towards your career. It will shift the focus from the life's problems to new avenues of income, to how to resolve family issues, to how to bring people closer. This is a very good time for people who wish to relocate to a different city, different country, for job, for career purpose. But yes, you might feel lonely, you might feel disconnected because Shani will give you a certain element of Vairagya. Second house is a very crucial house. It is called Kutumbha Bhava. It is also Dhana Bhava. That means it denotes family, family values, your security. So as soon as Saturn enters here, you will feel slightly insecure. And then slowly as Saturn reaches further degrees, it traverses through the Aquarius zodiac sign, the efforts taken by you to secure your life will ensure mental peace. But yes, if you are still careless, if you are still not buying any insurance policies, if you are not thinking about your and your family's financial, food and medical security, then definitely there will be some bad events, some negative events, and Saturn will do this so that it will be like a wake-up call, and this will shake your foundation so that you take necessary steps to address that situation. So before the planet does it to you, you do it by yourself. It's a good time to think about inheritance. It is a good time to plan for your family's future, for your children's future. A lot of people might write their will during this time. But overall, Saturn coming in Dhan Bhav is going to lean out the things and will draw your focus to more essential. So yes, you cannot just spend money for luxury, but you can focus your financial goals towards your necessities that might arise in the near and distant future. Saturn's third aspect will be on your fourth house. So this is also going to be the time when there might be a need to say buy a property. There might be a need to shift your home, renovate your house. Maybe the family is expanding, or maybe there is a marriage and the children are getting married, so they need a new home, a new place. So that kind of expense will be there, that kind of things will drive your call for your life, and these are very natural part of life for Capricorn Ascendant people. Saturn's seventh aspect will be on your eighth house. So Saturn is definitely going to make you insecure by allowing you to watch the things in the eighth house. So this is one time when eighth house things will become visible. Don't get scared. Do not decide on events of your life unless you have proper data. Do not believe on things that you just listen. Half-baked, half-cooked information will be deadly during this time. So do not react. Don't give a knee-jerk reaction to any news that you hear or any idea that you have. Go slow, step by step, gather and acquire all the knowledge. And once you have properly assessed the situation, you should take an informed decision only and only then. Saturn's 10th aspect will fall on your 11th house. So Saturn is going to take away some friends. You will lose friendship. More people will come. Professional connections will rise, especially business connections. And because Saturn in the second house wants you to work for the 11th house, It means your source of income will increase. If you are a hard-working person, if you are giving your blood and sweat to your career, you will see a proper growth, be it business, be it job. And even when you don't have any career right now, it can be your passion. Something that you're doing not for money, but for your own passion, for your own happiness. It can be charity, it can be a awareness campaign, it can be anything. Your friends will need you. Also, you will see that most of your funds will get locked in long-term investments, and you might face liquidity crisis. Take that into consideration whenever you will plan your future, financial future. So always keep some emergency cash ready as a backup. Do not do any activity without any backup. The chance that you might lose a lot of money because that might act as a wake-up call, that chance will be high. Take care of any dental issues that you have. Take care of any eyesight and thyroid issues if you face any. Take care of your health. Speak less, but speak effective. Learn how to communicate in an effective manner. You can take courses for that. You can discuss that with friends and family. Also, eat less, slightly less than what you eat right now. Keeping your stomach slightly empty might be fruitful. You can talk about this to a dietitian and a yoga practitioner and talk about your health. Go for a diet plan, lean out, cut down the calories. Focus on your health, financial and physical. And you will see that for Capricorn, the Saturn transit will act like a boon, like a blessing from the divine that will solve all the problems in your life by giving you proper guidance, by bringing your attention to proper places so that you can actually redesign your life. So you can say the theme of the Saturn transit for Capricorn is a redesign. It's a completely new dimension for you. Aquarius Ascendant. Saturn was in your 12th house since January 2020, and now from January 2023, Saturn will be on your Ascendant. A Saturn transit on Ascendant is one of the most crucial transit that you can experience, because not only it's your Ascendant Lord coming on your Ascendant and creating a Panch Mahapurush Raj Yoga, but it is also a time in your life when you have to take the load of responsibilities, the burden of being a responsible person, and you have to address and transform yourself depending upon the circumstance where you will be put in. Saturn transit on Ascendant is usually people get scared that Saturn will come on Ascendant and it is going to create problems, because Saturn is a planet of death, decay, obstacles. You have to understand that Saturn is your Ascendant Lord. And when Ascendant Lord comes on your Ascendant, it is the most powerful transit. Similarly, if your 9th Lord goes in the 9th house, it is again one of the most powerful transit for you. If you are an Aquarius Ascendant, if you are running an Aquarius Chardasha, or if you are experiencing Saturn Mahadasha or Antardasha, and you are an Aquarius Ascendant, you will see a more intense result of this transit. Aquarius is actually the 11th house of the Kalpurush zodiac belt. Therefore, talking about gains. Now, you see the symbolism of Aquarius. It is a man with a pitcher of water, but he is trying to give the water. What does it mean? See, to understand Aquarius, you have to understand Aquarius from the perspective of 6th and 12th house. And then you can understand what will happen when Saturn enters this zodiac sign. Because whenever Saturn will enter any particular zodiac, it will make that zodiac heavy. It will make you work towards that zodiac. It will make you work towards the properties of that zodiac, properties of the Kalpurush and the Bhava where it is placed. Aquarius is basically 6th from 6th house and 12th from 12th house. So you can understand that Aquarius do resonate with 6th and 12th house. What is 6th house? Your Prarabdha Karma. Prarabdha Karma is the loan of your life, and 12th house means how can you repay the loans. You have to understand that. And when 11th house is 6th of 6th and 12th of 12th, it means it is holding the capacity to cut down the prarabdha and reduce your expenses by increasing the capacity to spend, so that you have surplus and you can share and you can give, you have capacity to give, and you are in the most powerful capacity to actually get rid of loans, both physical and karmic. Say, let's take an example. If you have say $1 million loan on your head, obviously to repay the loan, it will have to be given from your own financial base, your income, or maybe your bank account, or maybe the properties that you hold. That means when you will repay the loan, it will reflect as an expense emotionally. Now think about karmic things. We see our life in one lifetime, but the loans can cover many lifetimes. So maybe in this lifetime we are only repaying the loan, and in the books of this life there is no input but only output. And that is what causes us a lot of concern. That is where the 11th house comes into picture. That is where the prarabdha of 11th house becomes to make you happy. Now you earn a lot of money. It will be very easy for you to repay the loans. Even when you spend, you won't feel like you're spending. You can understand, right? When your income increase, when you become a millionaire and you go to a shopping mall, and when you pick up a cloth, you might not see the tag, how much price that cloth has, what is the price tag, what is the cost. You will just go and buy because obviously you can afford. So 11th house gives you the capacity to actually repay the karma and also not feel bad about it. Bring that 11th house on ascendant. When you are born with Aquarius as the moon sign or Aquarius as ascendant, it means God has given you that surplus, or it will give you the opportunity to cut down the prarabdha. But to follow that, you will have to follow Saturn, because that is ruled by Saturn. Because to cut down a prarabdha, you have to do a lot of hard work, and as a result of your karma, you can increase your capacity. That is why Aquarius has a man with a pitcher, but he is giving the water. He has surplus, so he can offer something. So when Saturn goes on your ascendant, you can build capacity to cut down your loans, to cut down problems of your life. You can find alternative solutions. You can accept situations in your life because now you can. You can manage things in your life because now you can. But will it come automatically? The answer is no. It will make you work hard. If you have not addressed that part of life, it will make you address those areas of life by making you do the hard work and maybe creating minor issues, obstacles, blockages, delay in results, health issues, psychological pressure on your head, and you may feel like a porter. You're holding the load on your head and you're walking with that load. That will force you to change your direction, force you to change your ways. But if you are sensitive to these energies and you know that you have to change, and therefore you take a conscious decision to change as per what Saturn wants you to do, you will see Saturn will increase your capacity, and then the 6th house and the 12th house and the 8th house will have no effect. Because if there is one house which can nullify the effect of 6, 8 and 12, it's the 11th house. It's the power of Aquarius. That is why Aquarians can be great humanitarian people. They can be extremely generous. So Saturn here wants you to work towards these qualities of life. And on ascendant, it becomes a fundamental attribute of your life. Those who will address it will see Saturn helping them. And those who will refuse it will see obstacles. Because we can't fight planets. They define our life. Now, Observe what Saturn will do. Saturn will also take control of your environment. So you might be very particular about the choice of food, the place where you will live. You might be stubborn about how you want to execute a day-to-day activity. But in this stubbornness, there shouldn't be any ego. There should be fundamental logic, a logic that can be explained. Because if you are just doing it out of ego because you think it is right, then Saturn will teach you a lesson by putting you into an adverse situation. And through that adverse situation, you will learn, because now Saturn is controlling your entire life for 3 years. This Saturn has capacity to take control of all your actions. 3rd house, 7th house and 10th house are actually controlled by Saturn. How? With Saturn in the 1st house, it will aspect the 3rd house by the Vakra Drishti. It is going to make you work really hard. It is the time to grill and grind so that you can be more successful than you can even imagine. It is going to challenge your courage. It is going to put you into an examination kind of situation, but it will change your life for good. Remember, this is your ascendant lord, who, with what energy you are born in this world, that is coming on your ascendant. It can't be negative. But you may be feeling the presence of a very strict mentor who does not want you to get away from your birth destiny and the birth path. With 3rd aspect on the 3rd house, Saturn may create challenges with your brother. So you may have to bring truce. You may have to help your brothers, your cousins, your friends, your neighbors. It is going to see at every step what are you doing with your hands, means what initiatives you take. Your expressions are going to come down. You will feel introvert. You will feel to go inside, and you won't be now interested to go into a party or go into a place where you have a lot of people. Rather, you will want to go to a place of isolation. You will love that. When Saturn aspects the 7th house, it is going to make you understand the perspective of your spouse. You will see and you will have to adjust according to the other person's choice also. Because Saturn is one planet that is not biased. He wants you to also listen to the other person. And the advice you will get will be excellent. You will also be responsible in influencing the life of your partner and therefore bringing structure, harmony and peace in their life. So if you are a business partner to somebody, you can be an excellent person who can reorganize, restructure and help the other partner so that both of you can build an empire together. Same goes in marriage. Also, it means that Saturn might make you a one-man army, put you into a career or in a position where you have to fight all alone. There is nobody to help. So you have to take care of everything. That's the time when Saturn will see whether you choose to be egoistic or you keep walking the path and try to bring people along, try to delegate the task and be a mentor or a guide to them, depending upon what age you are. Because what I'm saying, this portion may not be true for a very young person, but is absolutely true for, say, 45, 50-year-old person. Also, Saturn will aspect 10th house. Therefore, you will take charge in your career. You will be given greater responsibility. You might find a bright and a new career, and that will help you a lot and will put you into a path of financial success. Financially, it is going to be a year which is going to see growth, because obviously you will have to do hard work. But you will have to take baby steps, one step at a time. Wrong investments, well, it is because of a wrong karma. Saturn means patience, discipline, small installments. The moment you want to be a part of the grand plan, then first you will have to prove yourself. Because you might say that your peer or your friend is investing in X amount of money, but why am I supposed to invest Y amount of money? And Y being very, very small compared to X? Because maybe through that person's horoscope, X is the right amount, but for you through your own horoscope, Y is the right amount. So you will have to figure out the true value of investment as per your own birth chart. And as per your own position, you can do it through logical financial calculations also. And if you do that right installments and think about 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, then Saturn will build a future for you. Because Shani transit is called a transit that transcends generations. It is not a momentary 1 or 2 month or 5 month old transit. It's long, 2.5 to 3 years. Say a person will live for 90 years. Still, if he is spending say 30 odd years in the young age from say 20 to 50, then 3 years is a big time. It's 10% of that duration. 10%. Huge. So Saturn is going to transform your life in a positive direction, but then it is going to be very strict on you. You might feel that somebody is holding down your neck, and no matter how hard you try, there will be few areas where things will not change, no matter what you do. And then there will be few areas where even taking a single step takes you 10 places ahead. That will happen when you will walk in the path where you are intended to be, where you are supposed to be. And that can only be found through your own birth chart. Saturn is not a planet of result. Saturn is the planet of effort. So you have to show that effort. And if you show that effort, say in trying to bring in peace and harmony with your neighbors, with your cousins, with your family members, with your own spouse, business partner, you will see things will become smoother and smoother as the time passes, because you will keep on adjusting and understanding, and maybe you will understand that that person, if he or she is in a certain way, maybe there is a reason behind that. And that is what is the beauty of Saturn, because it will ask you to think by putting yourself into the shoes of the other people, which makes you more sympathetic and which makes you more sensitive. But on the other hand, if you have a very negative moon, very negative Saturn in your own birth chart, or if there is a say Saturn moon in Aries in Gandanta in 8th house, let's take a random example, then you will have to be very, very careful. Very, very careful. Why? Because when Saturn will make its move on your ascendant and you have a negative Saturn and moon in your birth chart, then this will make you more pessimistic, might give you depression, might make you think only the dark and the negative, because that's what Saturn operates. The primary principle of Saturn is focus on the negative side so that you can get rid of it. But if you are caught in the negative wind and you never get out of it because no other planet supports you, then there can be problem and you might have to take the help of an astrologer to get out of the problem. You can chant Shani Bij mantra or simply the mantra Nilanjanam Samabhasam Raviputram Yamagrajam Chaya Martanda Sambhutam Tam Namami Shanashcharam. And if you chant that mantra, it will be an excellent positive energy for you, for businessmen, say for students, for housewives, for elderly. In general, this is an excellent, positive and soul uplifting transit. It's a transit that will give you power, position, financial security, good health, but only when you address those areas consciously and you try your best to correct it. Slow and steady will win the race. Pisces Ascendant. Pisces is experiencing a Jupiter transit which is definitely buffering a lot of negative effects. The presence of Jupiter in the Meena Rashi is acting as a very strong Raj Yoga, therefore helping you recover from all the damage that you have experienced because of the Saturn transit in Capricorn since 2020. Now, if you see the trajectory of your ascendant lord since 2019, like a couple of months before Saturn made its move in Capricorn, there was a Jupiter, Ketu and Saturn transit happening in your 10th house in Sagittarius zodiac. Then that infamous eclipse happened. Then Saturn made its move into your 11th house. And then Jupiter became debilitated by going in Capricorn zodiac sign. Then Jupiter made its move in Aquarius. And lastly, Jupiter finally made its move in Pisces. So only after Jupiter made its transit to Pisces is when Pisces as an ascendant and as a moon sign experienced some relief. Since 2020, Saturn has been occupying the 11th house, and ideally it is a good placement for Saturn, but considering the Saturn's third aspect falling on your ascendant, I can say that it was not a pleasant experience. On one hand, it must have given you. On the other hand, it must have squashed a lot of dreams and hopes simultaneously in your life, because Shani was a grand filter. See, 11th house is a house where all the desire and wish fulfillment starts to come to reality, starts to come and walk in your life. And when Saturn goes there, it is going to make you work a lot towards your desire, maybe towards your business, maybe towards your career, something that you always wanted to do, but not necessarily give you any result. Because the fundamental duty of Saturn is to bring stability. So Saturn on one hand may have given you income stability, but also on the other hand, if you were running too fast, say you have a very strong Mars, Saturn would have stopped you from reaching anywhere, and it would have stopped the source of income, and a lot of negative energy would have come in just to balance everything. See, this is a Capricorn Saturn. You can't expect this Saturn to behave any differently. Capricorn is a zodiac sign where the karma happens. It's not a soft zodiac. If you see, Capricorn is an actual zodiac sign where both the earth element and in a way a water element also comes into picture, because of the symbol which is called Makara, amphibian animal. And also Capricorn is a zodiac where Saturn gets Swagrahi in its own house, Mars gets Exalt, and Sun finds its brightest place in Capricorn in the Kalpurush, the 10th house. When such energy go into the 11th house for Pisces, which is basically a more softer, more holistic, more inclusive, the natural 12th house, the more giving, the more philosophical zodiac sign, for you earning becomes a challenge. For you drawing money becomes a challenge, because you have to deal with that heavy energies of Capricorn, and it seems like the deposits that usually happens at the base of the ocean, the sediments after the layers of sediments starts piling up. So did those sediments of emotions started to pile up when Saturn moved into Capricorn, and it made you work on those sediments. It must have triggered the memories of the past and brought in a lot of different aspects right in front of you, different kind of experiences. And this Saturn actually twisted your personality, made you change yourself, forced you. And only when Jupiter entered in the first house is when you understood the grand plan, you surrendered, and now it brings you in a much happier state. So when Saturn moves to Aquarius, which is your 12th house, the first thing that happens is that the lock on your gain, the grand filter on your gain, and the neck hold on your ascendant is gone. So definitely it becomes extremely positive freedom, I will say, for you. But then Saturn goes in the 12th house in its zodiac sign of office, you can say Mula Trikona zodiac sign, and in the 12th house Saturn starts making you work for which you exist, because you are the natural 12th house. With Jupiter in the first and Saturn in the 12th, and then later on Jupiter and Rahu in the second, Saturn is going to make you realize your true potential. It will make you respect your boundaries. It will ask you to stop the unnecessary expense by increasing the unnecessary expense so that your attention goes there and you do something about it. It's a very good time for people who wants to leave their country and leave their home and travel abroad and settle down in a foreign country, find a job in an MNC, who wants to do export and import, who are in oil and metal industry, manufacturing industry. Because Saturn will make you spend your money, if you're a businessman, to establish these plants and units. But being in the 12th house, there has to be a purpose, because 12th house has a purpose to give, not to receive. So Saturn created a foundation from past 3 years, and now it wants you to stand on that foundation, prove yourself, and then increase your capacity to give. Then, now you will have to track the power of Jupiter. Jupiter will be in 1st, 2nd and 3rd house with each year passing by. And Jupiter will also give you that power and potential to earn money, because 2nd house is Dhana Bhava, 3rd house is your capacity to do something. So try to understand, this is the time to act. This is the time to create boundaries. This is the time to be within those boundaries. And this is the time to be in discipline. Otherwise, Saturn will take away your sleep, your happiness. It will take away the charm of marriage and create difficulties in marriage, because 7th house will find Saturn 6th from itself. You will see and face challenging situations and scenarios, and Jupiter will help you. And this situation and scenario is to differentiate you from the rest of the world, so that you can be somebody in your own sector, in your own dimension. So that is why you will have to be very careful about your health, about your expenses, about your plans for the future. And see, 12th house is also about enemies or anything that is hidden from you. But this is not a hidden thing as the 8th house secrets. This is something that is right in front of you, but you can't see, because 12th house is basically something that is behind. 12th house is basically your subconscious mind. So you will have to be extremely, extremely cautious how you treat your subconscious mind, by what frequencies and energies you treat yourself, your 5 senses, your subconscious brain. So this is the time when you will have to think, to go close to nature, give your 5 senses the ancient treatment, and give the holistic guidance to yourself, maybe talking to a guru, and basically being in a satsang, listening to the discourses of the learned masters will help you in the long run. That's the message. Saturn being in the 12th house will make you go places, will make you famous in the foreign country, will help you become more global, especially if your business or your career allows that. For others, Saturn can be excellent by helping you build the nation, by helping you build the society, so that you can give your time and role. Remember, Saturn is Kal, time, and 12th house is donation. So Saturn in 12th house will use time to repay your debts. That means in a lot of places, you will see that you will spend more time and you will get less in return. Try to understand that if time is going to be the currency for you, and that is why time will be money. You have to create an ecosystem where you manage your time so efficiently that you have some time to give as a donation, and then you have some time where you work hard and work smart so that you gain more. And that is why you need your time to have a passive income, which means you need to build your team and be a team player. If you still be too centric on yourself, things are not going to work out. Saturn will deplete your resource very fast and will ask you to focus more on the future. Future proofing is going to be the theme of this transit. It's a very good time for team players, team builders, social media influencers. Refining will happen, grinding and grilling will happen. But this Saturn's third aspect on the second house will make you rethink about your financial plans, will make you rethink about your plans of buying or getting a loan, will make you rethink about your taxes, about your travel plans, and maybe the expenses can actually bother you. So prepare from now. Stop from spending money where you don't need. This is the time when you will have to go minimalistic in every sector of life, depending what financial status you have right now. Saturn being in the 12th house and aspecting the 6th house would also like you to focus on your health, and because it's in its own zodiac sign, it will ask you to cut down your food, your intake. Do yoga. Because Saturn is in 12th house, it will make you work towards the donation. So release of energy has to be done. Walk a lot. Don't give too much comfort to your body, but rather push to create new boundaries, new limits. Expand your horizon. If you see, Shani is a Kala. Also, Shani can be Akasha Tattva. You have to pray to Bhagwan Shiva. Do the Nad Brahma Pranayam. Expand your consciousness, and that is how you can treat your subconscious mind. Do a lot of meditation. Sit quietly with yourself and figure out your do's and don'ts and how you can plan. Proper planning and structure and knowing the consequences is how you have to live. When Saturn will be in Aquarius, and trust me, Saturn can stop all unnecessary expenses. Saturn will help you get rid of all the negative energy. And if you subtract all the unnecessary and the negative, what is left is positive. On the other hand, if you don't listen to him, he will introduce lethargy, lack of sleep, health issues, problem in traveling. You are stuck outside in a foreign country. Those kind of situations will happen. Now, Saturn will also aspect your 9th house. So, Saturn would want you to go into places of religious and spiritual interest, join an ashram, do something about your dharma. And this transit will ask for sacrifices. This transit will ask you to give up a lot of things. Give up bad habits, give up some trait, some quality, maybe your value system, maybe something that you always fought for and now you are seeing the reality. Maybe now is not the time to continue fighting for that cause. It can be anything. This is a Shani which is going to make you focus more on what can be released and whatever is left. So you will just see, it is not just Saturn that is going to work for you, it is a Saturn plus Jupiter combo. Because Saturn will work on the release part and Jupiter will work on the acquiring part. So you have to pray to both Mahavishnu and Mahashiva by praying Om Namah Shivaya and Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, so that the both energies of the cosmos, the Ida and the Pingala, both comes in unity, and pranayam becomes extremely, extremely important for you. Padmasana, pranayam, kriya, dhyan, mudra, mantra, adhyatma, and discipline. Fundamental pillars for Pisces Ascendant. Otherwise, on a mundane level, business will see good growth but restricted growth. First, it will ask you to invest and then will give you return. In matters of marriage, it will ask you to handle your spouse's problems before you handle your problems. You have to introduce a cordial relation. This can also give relief to people who are stuck in court cases, who are stuck in divorce cases, who have litigations on them. This will help people whose land, whose assets are stuck in litigation, whose money is stuck, or if you are facing any unexpected court case, unexpected war, unexpected enemy, Saturn will give relief and bring justice. Now, when I say relief, I say it will give you justice. Saturn knows what's best for you. What you should do? Pray to Hari, pray to Bhagwan Mahavishnu, pray to Bhagwan Shiva. Also, you can chant Shani Mantra so that Saturn in 12th can actually drive your finances. Because 2nd, 6th and 10th are connected to your money, are connected to your fame, are connected to how people recognize you. And if you are too proud of the wealth that you have, then this is going to be a bad transit for you. You should be ready to donate, you should be ready to give, you should be ready to accept the world as it is and try to make it a better place. And then only Saturn in 12th, the Graha of Karma, in the Bhava of Dan, will understand that you are in the right place and will ensure that you get everything and don't lose, and you will never lose anything that you deserve.